Beginning with a gentle golden wind and light rain, the master of ceremonies, with a single stroke, surprises the world. This video is purely for entertainment, and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting, and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 926. The evil god palace reappears. Two people are targeted. The next day, the three giants of the previous generation of the Zenfu division appeared and announced the merger of the North and South Zenfu divisions and selected 5 deputy commanders of the Zenfu division within 15 days. In addition to this matter, there is also a communication from the Ministry of Personnel and the Zenfu division at the same time. The Prince of the Great Zhao began to be responsible for the stability of the rivers and lakes in various regions. Officials of the Ministry of Personnel and the Zenfu division in various places must obey the orders of the princes in charge of the area. Among them, the place where the 4th prince is responsible is the North-South Canal Basin. Looking at this communication, King Chen's eyes were gloomy, just as she guessed. The affairs of the North-South Canal were really handed over to the 4th prince, who had the same mother as her. It seems that I have to go to see my 4th brother, King Chen thought to himself. At this time, a servant walked in from outside. Master, Bei Chaofei of Jinfengxiaoyu Tower has sent you an invitation. Please go to Jinfengxiaoyu Tower for a chat. The servant handed the invitation in his hand to King Chen. Bei Chaofei sees me at this time. King Chen frowned slightly. He glanced at the invitation in his hand. I hope King Chen will go to Jinfengxiaoyu Tower at 10 o'clock today. Prepare a car for me. I want to see the 4th prince's mansion. King Chen said to the attendant. At this moment, the 4th prince's mansion. Liu Long looked solemn. In front of him stood a middle-aged scholar in a green robe. The middle-aged scholar frowned and said, Your Highness, the Ministry of Personnel and the Pacification Department asked you to handle the matter of the North-South Canal, which we can't do at all. Now there are 3 major forces involved in the North-South Canal Basin, the General's Palace, the Shianaya Pavilion, and the Qinglang Society. These 3 forces are very powerful, and it is difficult for us to deal with one of them. And from the current situation, there are many things involved in the North-South Canal. The middle-aged scholar's face was very heavy when he spoke. I know, but I have no choice in this matter. This time, the Ministry of Personnel and the Pacification Department issued a communication at the same time, which means that the matter has been decided, and I can only accept the order. The 4th Prince Liu Long said in a deep voice. But with our current strength, once we get involved, I'm afraid there will be great losses. The middle-aged scholar said in a deep voice. Suddenly his expression changed, and his eyes looked in one direction. Then he shouted, Who dares to trespass into the palace? While shouting, the middle-aged scholar's figure flashed and appeared outside the hall, and a terrifying aura swept towards one place. Under the sweep of this aura, a woman in a red dress walked out from the dark. It was Zhao Ang, who came to the capital from the evil god palace. Seeing Zhao Ang coming out, the middle-aged scholar's eyes condensed, and his cold eyes, revealing murderous intent, stared at Zhao Ang closely. Sir, I'm here to see His Royal Highness the 4th Prince, and I can help His Royal Highness the 4th Prince face the current predicament. So don't be hostile to me. Zhao Ang looked at the middle-aged scholar and said, Who are you, and what is your purpose here? The middle-aged scholar's expression did not change, because of what Zhao Ang said. I'm Zhao Wei from the evil god palace. My purpose of coming here is, of course, to help the 4th prince get out of his current predicament. Zhao Wei said with an unchanged expression. Evil god palace? Help us change our predicament. I'm afraid you, evil god palace, don't have the ability to do so. The middle-aged scholar said coldly. Sir, don't underestimate the power of my evil god palace. Zhao Wei's expression turned cold, and he spoke. A momentum also appeared on his body, and the aura went towards the middle-aged scholar. The middle-aged scholar's eyes turned cold, and his footsteps moved, which was a sign of action. The visitor is a guest. Master Chen, please invite Miss Zhao in, to have a chat first. The voice of the 4th prince rang in the courtyard. Hearing this, the middle-aged scholar stopped, and his aura was restrained. When Zhao Wei heard the words of the 4th Prince Liu Long, his eyes condensed, and the aura on his body quickly disappeared. He went to the hall. Miss Zio, please sit down. The fourth prince Liu Long waved his hand. Fourth prince, let's make it short. We Evil God Palace are willing to support you in handling the North-South Canal. Zioang said. What do you want? The fourth prince Liu Long did not ask anything else, but asked what Evil God Palace wanted. We want the future water transport trade of the North-South Canal. Zioang said. As for the water transport trade of the North-South Canal, if you, Evil God Palace, can deal with Kinglang Club, Cheyenne Pavilion, and General Palace, it's fine to leave the North-South Canal trade to you. Liu Long looked at Zioang and said, Your Highness, we, Evil God Palace, have strength, but it's unlikely to deal with these forces alone. Zioang said, Since you can't deal with it, what can you do to help me? Liu Long looked at Zioang with some curiosity. I can help your highness contact some forces and deal with some forces. Zioang said. Contact some forces, deal with some forces? I wonder which forces you are going to deal with. Hearing Zioang's words, the fourth prince Liu Long said in a deep voice. It doesn't matter if you tell your highness. We are going to unite with General's Palace and Cheyenne Pavilion to deal with Kinglang Society. Zioang said. To deal with Kinglang Society, do you have friendship with Cheyenne Pavilion and General's Palace? The fourth prince Liu Long frowned slightly when he heard this. There is no friendship, but the world is a place of interests. As long as there are enough interests, why not become friends? Of course, as for how to do it, it still depends on whether His Highness the fourth prince agrees to our cooperation. After all, if we really deal with Kinglang Society, we still need to rely on the power of the Ministry of Personnel and the Pacification Department. Zioang said. I will consider this matter. Then I will come to see your highness in 3 days. After that, Zioang stood up and left. Your highness, do you want to send someone to follow? The middle-aged scholar looked at Zioang who was leaving and said. No, maybe it's a good choice to borrow the power of Evil God Palace. Your highness, I'm just afraid that Evil God Palace is plotting something else. The middle-aged scholar said. They must have other plans. As long as they can help me get through this crisis, it's okay to cooperate with them. But please help me find out the details of this Zioang. The fourth prince ordered the middle-aged scholar. Fourth brother, you don't need to check. There are 2 people from Evil God Palace who have come to the capital recently. One is Zioang you just met, and the other is Zhang Yu. This Zioang is the junior sister of Emperor Wu Hao. She is now the manager of the Evil God Palace in the capital. As for her position in the Evil God Palace, she is the person next to the master of the Evil God Palace. A voice sounded in the hall. Then Mirren King Chen walked in from outside the hall. Greetings, your highness King Chen. Little sister. The middle-aged scholar and the fourth prince said. You are here for today's communication. The fourth prince looked at Mirren King Chen who came in and said. Yes, recently Zhu Pingsheng handed over all the people in the South China Sea area of the Xianjian division to me to lead and asked me to investigate Duguiwa's affairs. And now I ask you to handle the affairs of the North-South Canal. You and I, brother and sister, are now being targeted. Mirren King Chen said. This situation is within my expectations. It would be abnormal if the Mirren family didn't take action against us when something happened. The fourth prince said calmly. Although the Mirren family did not directly announce to help the fourth prince before, but no matter what, the fourth prince's mother family, the Mirren family, is there, and it is an invisible force. Now that the Mirren family has been destroyed, they have lost this power. Fourth brother, do you want to cooperate with the Evil God Palace? Mirren King Chen said. If I don't use the power of the Evil God Palace, I can't stabilize the affairs of the North-South Canal. The fourth prince Liu Long said. Even if you use the power of the Evil God Palace, you can't stabilize the affairs of the North-South Canal, because the leader of the North-South Canal is Duguiwa. Duguiwa will definitely move. Mirren King Chen said. Hearing Mirren King Chen's words, the expressions of the fourth prince Liu Long and the middle-aged scholar changed. Things were indeed as troublesome as they had guessed. Chapter 927. Confusing. Someone is planning. Dugu will definitely make a move, which means that the North-South Canal Basin will inevitably stir up a huge wave. The Ministry of Personnel and the Pacification Department let your highness handle the affairs of the rivers and lakes of the North-South Canal alone. This is obviously a trap. Your highness is obviously targeting you. We must find a way to withdraw from the North-South Canal, the middle-aged scholar said with a very solemn face. This is somewhat targeting me, but I know why Zhu Pingsheng ended up at this time. The fourth Prince Liu Long's face had returned to calm at this moment and spoke. From Mirren King Chen's words, he could sense that Zhu Pingsheng was involved in this matter. It may be because of me. I have contact with King Donghu and Xian'ai Pavilion. I guess he wants to use this to test both parties, Mirren King Chen said. In addition, she couldn't think of the reason why Zhu Pingsheng did this for the time being. I always feel that it shouldn't be so simple. You just have a friendship with Su Chen, the young leader of the Green Dragon Society, and Su Chen is only the young leader. I'm afraid he can't make the decision on many things. So Zhu Pingsheng should not be just because of this. The fourth Prince Liu Long said in a deep voice. In that case, why did he do that? Mirren King Chen frowned. Don't worry about this matter. Since he has been involved in this matter, there will always be a clue when the time comes. Liu Long said. But the eldest prince, the 12th prince and the 15th prince are handling the affairs of the Jiangnan area. They may be heading for the Green Dragon Society in Jiangnan. The fourth prince said. The demon sect has reappeared in Jiangnan, and some hidden forces have emerged. The Green Dragon Society is just one of them. It's not so easy for them to stabilize Jiangnan. Mirren King Chen shook his head. As for the matter of the Evil God Palace, please wait for now. I will go to the Golden Wind and Rain Tower to meet Bei Chaofei later. I guess Bei Chaofei is meeting me now for this matter. I will contact Bei Chaofei of the Golden Wind and Rain Tower first to see what he thinks. Then you can decide whether to cooperate with the Evil God Palace. Mirren King Chen said. Okay, I'll wait for your news. The fourth Prince Liu Long said, after thinking for a moment. Then I'll go see Bei Chaofei first. Mirren King Chen turned and left, heading for the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. Liu Long looked at Mirren King Chen who was leaving, frowned slightly, and said to the middle-aged scholar beside him, I want all the news about Zhao Wei from the Evil God Palace after she came to the capital. I want to study it. Yes, I'll arrange it immediately. The middle-aged scholar also bowed and left the hall. I don't know if this crisis can be turned into an opportunity for me, the fourth Prince Liu Long murmured. At this time, another place, a very remote manor outside Sucheng, Jiangnan. Inside the manor, in the underground secret room, Xianfei sat cross-legged on the dark stone bed. Not far from her, a blood-colored long sword was suspended. It was the heavenly demon blood sword that she had used before in the Mirren family. At this moment, she was pouring the power in her body into the blood sword. However, the true energy she poured into it was swallowed up in an instant when it entered the blood sword. As time passed, beads of sweat appeared on Xianfei's forehead. Her face turned pale, and her breath began to weaken. Xianfei stopped pouring true energy. Her face was solemn. It seems that I have to find a treasure to restore my own essence. If the essence cannot be restored, I can't exert the greatest power of this heavenly demon blood sword. Xianfei murmured. Back then, she was imprisoned in the palace by Emperor Zhao, and her essence was also taken by Emperor Zhao. The acquisition of her essence damaged her strength. It has not recovered yet. After a while of breathing, Xianfei stood up. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Come in, Xianfei said. A figure walked in from outside. It was Zhao Zhongwen, the chief steward of the demon sect. Xianfei, is there a secret letter from the capital? Steward Zhao took out a secret letter from his bosom and handed it to Xianfei. Xianfei opened the secret letter. There was only one word kill on the secret letter, and her brows furrowed. She handed the secret letter in her hand to Steward Zhao. Steward Zhao looked at the word kill, and his expression changed instantly. With our current strength, if we do this, I'm afraid it will happen. We can't do this. Steward Zhao shook his head directly. There is only one word kill, which means that this matter requires us to execute it. In fact, when Di Fei was in trouble, I knew that such an order would come. Xianfei said in a deep voice. While they were talking, a figure entered the secret room. The figure was like a shadow, both illusory and real, that was eyeing Wuxi. Xian Fei, I just got the news that you and Xian Huan of the Jiangnan Pacification Division contacted Li Zunhuan, the second dragon head of the Qinglang Society, and paid a heavy price. Li Zunhuan agreed to assist the Jiangnan Pacification Division to attack us. Eyeing Wuxi said, did Li Zunhuan agree to you and Xian Huan to attack us? Upon hearing this, the heavenly concubine frowned slightly. It's normal. The Huangfu family, the earthly concubine, plotted against Zi Xiaofeng, the sword master of the Qinglang Society, and was killed by Zi Xiaofeng. The Qinglang Society should have regarded us as enemies. The Qinglang Society usually attacks the enemy ruthlessly, but this time, the Jiangnan Pacification Division is still in charge. Eyeing Wuxi said, I'm afraid it's not just the Jiangnan Pacification Division, the Xianjian Division may also move. Zhao Zong said on the side. Heavenly concubine, Qin Beiming was captured by the Jiangnan Pacification Division. I'm afraid the people of the Jiangnan Pacification Division already know that you are here. You should evacuate now. Eyeing Wuxi said. You guys keep a close eye on the Jiangnan Pacification Division and the movements of the Qinglang Society. I'll make arrangements here. The heavenly concubine said. Yes. Eyeing Wuxi bowed slightly and turned to leave the secret room. Xian Fei, who is that person in the capital? The Jiangnan Pacification Division asked the Qinglang Society to take action, and he should have known it in advance. After Eyeing Wuxi left, Manager Zhao spoke. I have never seen that person, but he has the heavenly demon order that the demon chief created back then. It was the bead that he gave me, which has the demon chief's spiritual power. Xian Fei spoke. Hearing Xian Fei's words, Manager Zhao's eyes condensed. This person's power in the capital is extraordinary. I'm afraid that this person is using us to plot big things. Manager Zhao said in a deep voice. I have been checking the other party's information, but there is no news. Xian Fei said in a deep voice. Then what should we do now? Do we really have to kill that Su Xiaolan Xiao? Manager Zhao said with a serious look. This matter cannot be done according to the other party's thinking. I want to meet the other party in person. See the other party's attitude. Xian Fei said in a deep voice. And we have to make some arrangements here. Otherwise Qin Beiming may not be able to take this opportunity to break into the Jiangnan Pacification Division. Xian Fei ordered. I have already made arrangements for this. Don't worry, Xian Fei. Okay, then I'll go see Su Chen now. You stay here. After saying that, Xian Fei left the secret room. Manager Zhao looked at Xian Fei leaving, his brows slightly moved. Chapter 928, Bring Yan Nan for his head to see Li Chen's Tingzhou area ray station of the Paradise Palace. In the courtyard, in the hall, Liu Chunan and a young man in black robes were standing in the hall. I didn't expect that the other party would send someone here so soon. Who do you think will come this time? The young man in black robes said. You are the one sent by the prince to Tingzhou. You don't even know. How can a small person in charge of the Paradise Palace know the other party's identity? Liu Chunan looked at the young man in black robes and said. Your Paradise Palace has a close connection with these people behind. Don't you know their identities and when they will arrive? The young man in black robes looked at Liu Chunan and said. If I knew, would I have to wait here with you for so long? Liu Chunan looked at the young man in black robes and said coldly. I don't believe it. The young man in black robes said. If you don't believe it, then what can I do? Liu Chunan waved her hand. At this time, three figures appeared at the door of the hall. As soon as they appeared, a terrifying pressure appeared in the hall. This pressure was like a dark cloud. Plop. Under this heavy pressure, the two did not react and were forced to kneel on the ground for a while. Crack. The bricks and stones on the ground shattered instantly. You. The black-robed young man was angry and roared. The true energy around him burst out to resist this pressure and wanted to stand up. But at this time, one of the three people moved and appeared in front of the black-robed young man in a blink of an eye. He slapped his palm quickly and hit the black-robed young man's chest. Bang. The black-robed young man who wanted to get up was hit by this palm and flew backwards, and his body hit the central wall of the hall. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. Then the body fell to the ground. Liu Chunan, who was next to the black-robed young man, had a changed look. She didn't expect the other party to attack. As soon as he came, a fear rose in her heart. She didn't dare to look up, so she half knelt on the ground. But with her head down, she could see the black-robed young man in the corner of her eyes. "You are here to deal with the people from the Qinglang Society, right? Why did you attack me?" The injured black-robed young man struggled to stand up and asked in a low roar. Among the three people who came, the leader took a step and walked towards the injured black-robed young man. Only at this moment could we see his appearance. He was wearing a bronze mask and his eyes were extremely cold. "Don't you know why they attacked you? Sometimes people have to pay the price for their actions." While speaking, the leader had already arrived in front of him. His palm suddenly raised. Bang! In the blink of an eye, the palm fell. Before the injured black-robed young man could react, his head was directly blown up by the other party's palm, and blood spurted out. "I gave you a chance to breathe, but you don't cherish it." After saying that, the leader looked at Liu Chunan, who was pressed to the ground without getting up, with a cold look in his eyes and said, "You are a smart person, and didn't do anything stupid. Otherwise, will your fate be the same as his? Within one day, I want the whereabouts of Yan Nanfei. When the time comes, I will take his head to see that Li Chen's." The voice was cold and overbearing. "Me." Liu Chunan was about to speak. "If you can't do it, you have no value to live." The tone of the person who came was filled with cold murderous intent. Liu Chunan, who was lowering her head, trembled all over. "I must find the whereabouts of Yan Nanfei, but after finding the whereabouts of Yan Nanfei, how to contact the adults?" Liu Chunan said with some stammering. "I will come to you in one day." After saying that, he turned and left. The figures of the two people who followed him also quickly disappeared. After a moment, Liu Chunan stood up. "What a terrifying pressure, and there is a terrifying ferocity in the pressure, which makes me feel suffocated. Who is behind the General Wang?" Liu Chunan murmured. "I also want to know who they are." Just as she finished speaking, at the back of the hall, a figure walked out. Seeing the figure, Liu Chunan was horrified. "Yan Nanfei, why are you here?" The person who came was Yan Nanfei. "After killing someone, I have to see your reaction. What's more, you want to find my whereabouts in one day, Miss Liu. You are really capable." Yan Nanfei looked at Liu Chunan and said, I was coerced. Master Yan, you also saw the situation just now. If I didn't say so, I'm afraid I'm the same as him now." He looked at the black-robed young man lying on the ground with his head exploded. He asked for his own death. Sometimes people have to take responsibility for their own actions. 2 days later, you will take them outside the city to the Tenli Mountain, Yan Nanfei said as he looked at Liu Chunan. Liu Chunan's expression changed when she heard Yan Nanfei's words. "Master Yan, are you going to deal with them? They are not simple. We have already reported your strength, and they are still so domineering, which shows that they have absolute confidence. So I suggest that Master Yan should return to the three dragons," Liu Chunan said. Yan Nanfei was beside the three dragons Li Chen's and told the three people about this matter. At that time, the three people might go directly to Li Chen's. In that way, even if something went wrong, it would have nothing to do with her. "Liu Chunan, I'm not discussing with you, but asking you to do this." Yan Nanfei looked at Liu Chunan with cold eyes. When she heard Yan Nanfei's words, Liu Chunan trembled all over. "I will take them to the Tenli Mountain outside the city as Master Yan asked," Liu Chunan said. "Very good. You are very smart. You will obey me from now on." Yan Nanfei looked at Liu Chunan and said, "Liu Chunan is the person in charge of the Paradise Palace in the Tingsao area. If Liu Chunan is captured, the Paradise Palace in the Tingsao area will be controlled. See you in Chili Mountain in 2 days. I hope you won't let me down." After saying that, Yan Nanfei also left in a flash. Only Liu Chunan was left in the hall. After waiting for a while, finding that no one came again, Liu Chunan's face gradually recovered. She looked up at the corpse on the ground. Shaking her head, she walked out of the hall and came to the outside of the yard. "Put the corpse inside in the ice cellar." Liu Chunan ordered the guards outside the yard. The black-robed young man was from the general's palace, and now he is dead. She can't deal with the corpse casually. She needs to wait for the general's palace to send someone to check. I'm so unlucky that I encountered such a thing. Liu Chunan cursed in her heart. At this time, Chen Huanzong and Li Chen's house sat on the bench, looking at the secret letter in his hand. His brows were furrowed. You are so arrogant that you even want to bring Yan Nan for his head to see me. In that case, I will go to see you in person in 2 days to see if you have the ability to do it. Li Chen's house eyes flashed coldly. Then he led his people away from Cheyenne Huan sect. Chapter 929, The Lord of the Evil God Palace, The Immortal Hall, The Blood of God, and Ambition. In the underground black market of Jinling City, Jiangnan. In a cave. Liu Boyan, how come you, the palace master of Evil God Palace, have time to come to my place? No one has come here for many years. The one who spoke was an old man in black and white hair, with a fierce look, and wearing a black and white robe. Opposite him stood a tall middle-aged man with black hair and a handsome face. The middle-aged man also had a kind of evil feeling that was difficult to describe. This man was the palace master of the Evil God Palace, Liu Boyan, mentioned by the old man. Old Cheyenne Kin. To make a long story short, I came here this time to cooperate with you. Now that the great Zhao Jianghu is in turmoil, it is our opportunity. In these years, you have not appeared in the black market. I'm afraid you are waiting for this opportunity. The palace master of the evil god, Liu Boyan, looked at the old man in front of him and said, the great Zhao martial arts world is in chaos now, but it is not a big chaos. You have fought with the Zhao emperor. Do you think that the Zhao emperor is really seriously injured and can't control the great Zhao martial arts world? The old man called Cheyenne Kin by Liu Boyan said, the Zhao emperor has means, but he didn't put out the changes in the martial arts world in the first time. It has proved that he is waiting and watching. In this waiting and watching stage, give us a chance and time. The heaven and earth, the stars change, the martial arts world, the world changes. This is a very normal thing. We must seize this opportunity. Liu Boyan, the master of the evil god palace, said. It seems that you are very confident, but with your evil god palace, I'm afraid you can't say such a thing. Who did you join forces with? Cheyenne Kin old man said calmly. Buleo Tang. Liu Boyan looked at Cheyenne Kin old man and said. Hearing Liu Boyan's words, Cheyenne Kin old man looked startled. Are you cooperating with people from Buleo Tang? There was a bit of solemnity in his tone. Are there any problems? Liu Boyan, the master of the evil god palace, looked at Cheyenne Kin old man and said, no problem. Besides the Buleo Tang, are there other people? Said the old man Cheyenne Kin. I'm also planning to unite with the other 3 evil sects to form an alliance. Said Liu Boyan. You have great ambitions, but it is rumored that the head of the Cheyenne sect has been taken away by Zhu Pingsheng. Do you still want to unite with them? Said the old man Cheyenne Kin. The Cheyenne sect's grand elder Lan Bingyan has come out of seclusion. I believe she will soon replace Yan Ruiyu and take charge of the Cheyenne sect. Is she qualified to form an alliance with us? Said Liu Boyan. It seems that Lan Bingyan has already cooperated with you. Do the other 2 agree? The people from the Yama Palace and the Tomb of the Dead will come to Jinling City tomorrow. This is why I want to cooperate with you. As long as you, old man Cheyenne Kin, help me, I believe we should be able to overwhelm them. Liu Boyan said. You want to borrow my power? I agree with this matter. I will meet them with you tomorrow. The old man Cheyenne Kin did not hesitate, but agreed directly. Okay, then I won't stay here. I will be waiting for you tomorrow. The evil god palace master Liu Boyan smiled and left after a slight salute. After Liu Boyan left, a figure walked out from the darkness. The person wearing a black brocade robe was Bei Zuanming, the current black market leader. Master, Liu Boyan is ambitious. Do you want to cooperate with him? Bei Zuanming said solemnly. I'm not cooperating with him. I'm interested in the Buleo Tang behind him. Just because he wants to cooperate with the Buleo Tang, I guess the evil god palace has been taken over by the Buleo Tang. It seems that the Buleo Tang is going to take action. Said the old man Cheyenne Kin. Master, the Changsheng society has suffered heavy losses in the capital. I feel that the Buleo Tang, which is as famous as it, is probably the same. Bei Zuanming said. When Emperor Zhao was in charge of the Great Zhao dynasty, many people from the Changsheng society left through the Xianmen Gate. It is rumored that the great elder who previously headed the Changsheng society also left. Otherwise, Changsheng would not be so weak. I haven't heard of anyone leaving the Buleo Tang. The Buleo Tang is completely different from the Changsheng society. They are more fierce and more ruthless than the Changsheng society. Of course, this is not what I care about. What I care about is the immortality elixir they refine. If I can get the immortality elixir, I believe my body and vitality will be restored to the peak, and then I can leave through the Xianmen Gate, said the old man Xianqin. Master, I got the news that you and Xianhuan of the Jiangnan Pacification Division asked the Qinglang Society to deal with the Xianfei of the demon sect. Bei Zuanming said. We should not interfere in this matter, but you should investigate what Liu Boyan wants to do. He has united the three evil sects in me. I'm afraid he has something to do. Xianqin old man said. Disciple understands. I will investigate secretly, then disciple will take his leave first. Bei Zuanming bowed and left the cave. Not long after, Bei Zuanming returned to the pavilion where he lived. When he stepped into the pavilion, a figure was sitting in the pavilion. Seeing the person coming, Bei Zuanming was stunned. I didn't expect that Palace Master Liu would wait for me here. Sitting on the pavilion was Liu Boyan, the Palace Master of the Evil God Palace who was previously in the cave of his master Xianqin old man. I don't know what Palace Master Liu is waiting for me here for. Bei Zuanming looked at Liu Boyan and said, I can recommend you to join the Immortal Hall. You can also get a drop of divine blood. Liu Boyan looked at Bei Zuanming and said, divine blood. Bei Zuanming frowned slightly. It is the immortality elixir that is said in the outside world. This divine blood can not only increase your lifespan, but also enhance the strength of your physical body and blood. Liu Boyan looked at Bei Zuanming and said. Hearing Liu Boyan's words, Bei Zuanming's expression slightly moved, but then calmed down. Palace Master Liu, you have already cooperated with my master. Why do you still recommend me to enter the Immortal Hall? Bei Zuanming looked at Liu Boyan and said. I think it is more promising to cooperate with you, and it will be more convenient for us to take over the black market. Hearing Liu Boyan's words, Bei Zuanming's pupils suddenly shrank. Palace Master Liu is a bit ambitious. He actually wants to take over the black market. It's not that I'm ambitious, but the need of the Immortal Hall behind me. The world is about to be in turmoil. At this time, if we want to get more things, we must control more. We can't miss such an opportunity. I believe you are a person who knows how to seize opportunities, Liu Boyan said. Hearing Liu Boyan's words, Bei Zuanming said in a deep voice, I understand what Palace Master Liu said, but it seems that I only got a drop of divine blood in the early stage. We will help you completely control the black market. This should be what you want. Liu Boyan said. The black market is not as simple as you think. For example, the Qinglang Society is a behemoth. Bei Zuanming said in a deep voice. The Qinglang Society is very strong now, and it is still in the limelight, but the first bird to stick its head out will be shot. I believe they will not be strong for too long. Liu Boyan said in a cold voice. Hearing Liu Boyan's words, Bei Zuanming's heart moved slightly. He could hear from Liu Boyan's words that someone wanted to move the Qinglang Society. I just don't know if it is the Buleo Tang. Bei Zuanming thought in his heart. As for Liu Boyan's words, to help him take over the black market, he sneered. On the surface, he was helping him take over the black market, but in fact, he would become a pawn pushed out by others. I need to think about this matter, and then I will report back to Palace Master Liu. Bei Zuanming said after thinking. Okay, I'll wait for your news. I hope you can seize this opportunity. Grasp it well, not only here, but even if you step into the heavenly gate, you will have a good development. After saying that, Liu Boyan flashed and left the pavilion. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 930. If you dare to reach out, you will be broken. Xianfo Temple in the Grotto. A piece of Huanglang's hand bone. My lord, Kaio Feng and the Lord of the Tomb of the Dead have been invited by the Lord of the Evil God Palace to attend the gathering of the 4 evil sects in Jinling. They will arrive in Jinling City almost tomorrow. Yuan Suan said beside Su Chen. The 4 evil sects are gathering. Wasn't Yan Ruiyu, the head of the Xian'an sect, one of the 4 evil sects, captured by Zhu Pingsheng of the Xianjian division, and taken to the Xianjian division? How can the 4 evil masters gather? Su Chen was puzzled. I don't know the details, but Wei Dongjun, the lord of the Yama Palace, is also on his way to Jinling. Yuan Suan said. Is that so? But the lord of the evil god palace summoned the 4 evil sects to gather in Jinling City at this time. What does he mean by this? The evil god palace has been very active recently. Su Chen frowned slightly and said in a cold voice. There was news from Beichaofei in the capital. People from the evil god palace wanted to enter the north-south canal and appeared in the residence of the 4th prince, claiming that they would unite with Dugu Wiwo and Xian'an Pavilion to attack their Qinglang society. This is a complete provocation. Recently, he had someone investigate the whereabouts of the master of the evil god palace. Unexpectedly, the other party jumped out at this time. My lord, according to Mr. Zhu Zhengwo's speculation, this may be a test of the evil god palace, and there may be means arranged. Yuan Suan said. Test? Do you mean they are testing my Qinglang club? Su Chen frowned and asked in a deep voice. According to Mr. Zhu's speculation, it is like this. Yuan Suan replied. That means they are well prepared. Su Chen frowned slightly. My lord, Mr. Zhu has deduced from the information he has recently obtained that our Qinglang club may be targeted by multiple forces. Yuan Suan said. Hearing Yuan Suan's words, Su Chen frowned slightly. If you dare to reach out, then cut them off. See if anyone dares to reach out. Su Chen said coldly. The Qinglang club is strong, and it must be strong to the end. What's more, he has the confidence to be strong. What did Mr. Zhu say about what Xianfei said that day? Su Chen asked afterwards. The night before yesterday, Xianfei came to see him in person, want to cooperate with him, and also told Su Chen some things. It was full of sincerity. Of course, Su Chen did not agree to the other party immediately. Mr. Zhu said that from the performance of Xianfei, they should have a lot of information. This time, the Jiangnan Pacification Division may not be able to find Xianfei, so Xiao Longshao can cooperate with the other party. Maybe Xiao Longshao can get more confidence from Xianfei. Know who is plotting against Xiao Longshao? Yuan Suan said. Is that so? Then you can contact Xianfei secretly and say that I'm cooperating with her, but the cooperation is temporarily limited to her. Su Chen said. I will go and arrange it. Yuan Suan said. From the information received, someone is plotting against the master and wants to take the master's life. This is something Yuan Suan cannot tolerate. He wants to learn more about it from Xianfei. Anyone who dares to harm the master can only die. After Yuan Suan left, Su Chen's brows slightly gathered. Judging from the current situation, the storm is coming, and their Qinglang club seems to be more dense and is more in the center of the storm than Xian'an Pavilion. Is it because Xian'an Pavilion has made few moves? Su Chen thought to himself. If that's the case, let Xian'an Pavilion also become fierce. Su Chen murmured. Xian'an Pavilion's East Pavilion lives in the frontier. Now Gu Santong and Zhu Wuxi are very powerful. It's time to sweep towards the central plains. Isn't the great Zhao martial arts world about to be stormed? Then I'll make this storm come earlier. Su Chen said coldly. Now the East Pavilion outside the frontier is unified and powerful. Once it enters the great Zhao martial arts world, it will definitely stir up waves. However, the northern 9 counties are the closest to the frontier. The northern 9 counties are the territory of the Qinglang society. It is definitely not appropriate to enter directly from the northern 9 counties. Of course, there are Lingjiang and Chuanan regions bordering the outskirts of Seiwei. Guan Yushan is in charge of Lingjiang region, so now we can only take Chuanan region first. Now in Chuanan region, Xian'an Pavilion and Qinglang Club have no one which can be said to be the most suitable. In Chuanan region, the 5 poison demon sect appeared some time ago and successfully took over Chuanan region. If Gu Santong and his team take down the 5 poison demon sect, they can take over Chuanan region. Su Chen thought in his heart. Let Gu Santong and Zhu Wuxi do it themselves. I don't need to worry about it. Su Chen sighed and said, then took a look at the 12 orange lottery cards on his body. Now there are too many forces occupying, and many things are coming. After reading some ancient books and treasures of the Huangfu family, plus other things, he has 12 orange lottery cards on him. Wu He entered the Lingayan Grand Buddha Temple, a holy place of Zen Buddhism, and recently prepared to enter its library for further study. Some classics were also sent from time to time. Moreover, Wu He also sent a message saying that, after he finished his training in the library of Lingayan Grand Buddha Temple, he would enter Lingayan Grotto Temple. Compared with Lingayan Grand Buddha Temple, Lingayan Grotto Temple is the center of Zen Buddhism. Because Lingayan Grotto Temple enshrines the real Buddha. As for the so-called real Buddha, Wu He has not seen it yet, so the specific information is unknown. Moreover, by entering Lingayan Grotto Temple, Wu He can become a disciple of Grotto Xianfo Temple above Xianmen. It is rumored that Grotto Xianfo Temple is the first Buddhist force in Huangzhou above Xianmen, and its strength is very strong. Of course, this is just the news that Wu He found out. After all, Su Chen and his friends don't know much about the information above Xianmen. Now that the Great Zhao dynasty is intensifying, we still need to get more trump cards. Looking at the 12 orange lottery cards, Su Chen took them all without hesitation. Congratulations on getting 3 top-level weapon swords, 2 top-level weapon swords, a drop of ancient bad blood for Yuan Suan, a full set of Gangzi skills for Fu Hongsu, a heart of nothingness for Li Zunhun, a 30-year internal strength for Wei Zhuang, 2 9-turn heavenly snow lotuses, a specific character Yao Yu Liangxing, a piece of wild dragon hand bone for Kao Feng, HMM. Su Chen looked at the reward with a condensed look. In addition to the 5 top-level weapons, it is to improve the character's strength. Yuan Suan got bad blood last time, and this time he got an ancient bad blood directly, which shows that the blood is not simple. Fu Hongsu got Gangzi Yu's strength, which made Su Chen a little unexpected. Gangzi Yu and Fu Hongsu are rivals. He thought Yan Nanfei would get Gangzi Yu's skills. Gangzi Yu is the 4th 10-year master of Gulong, inherited from Shen language. His martial arts are indestructible and impeccable. It is said that only the world's #1 hidden weapon, the peacock feather, and the heaven and earth interaction yin-yang great compassion can break it. Fu Hongsu himself has practiced a type of heaven and earth interaction yin-yang great compassion. In this case, Fu Hongsu's strength may have directly reached the breaking level. Wei Zhuang's 30 years of true ki, his strength may have reached the peak of the sea of concentration. Finally, Su Chen's eyes fell on the 9-turn heavenly snow lotus and the wild dragon hand bone. 9-turn heavenly snow lotus. It is condensed by 9 cold vortexes on the snow lotus. After taking it, it can strengthen the cold attribute bloodline strong, which is suitable for Yao Yu and lion crossing. Wild dragon hand bone, although it is only a piece, it is the bone of the wild dragon. Kao Feng got a drop of wild dragon blood before. With this hand bone, Kao Feng's strength will be further improved. It can be regarded as a big explosion. Before 7 PM, at least 3 updates, and strive for 4 updates. Chapter 931, The Body of Nothingness, Escaping into the Void, Attacking, Strange Body. As for Li Zunhuan's Heart of Nothingness, it surprised Su Chen the most. Heart of Nothingness, a heart of the ancient body of nothingness. After being integrated into the body, it can be continuously developed and improved to form a body of nothingness. The body of nothingness can escape into the void and become invisible. Li Zunhuan himself is a flying knife. If this body of nothingness is added, it can escape into the void. The attack can be invisible and invisible. After a knife attack, who can stop it? It's amazing. Su Chen looked at this introduction and exclaimed in his heart. Tingzhou area. Paradise Palace resident Liu Chunan was standing respectfully in front of 3 men in black. These 3 men in black were the ones who asked Liu Chunan to find Yan Nanfei's whereabouts within 1 day. In 1 day, you found Yan Nanfei's whereabouts. I was right about you. The leader looked at Liu Chunan and said with some appreciation. Reporting to the adults, after Yan Nanfei killed someone, I started tracking his whereabouts, so I was able to lock on Yan Nanfei so quickly. Liu Chunan said hurriedly. You are really smart. Then take us to see Yan Nanfei, the leader ordered. Yes. Liu Chunan nodded hurriedly and then led the 3 people out of the camp. In a secluded forest, outside a small manor, 4 figures appeared. In the front was Liu Chunan. Yan Nanfei is here, but my people didn't dare to investigate who was inside, for fear of being discovered by the other party. Liu Chunan said. HMPH, don't worry about who is inside. The black-robed man behind him said coldly. While speaking, one of the 3 people stepped forward, and under the wide robe, a long sword appeared. Suddenly, a sword intent filled the air. The palm was raised, and a sword was slashed. Bang! The gate of the manor in front of them was immediately split in 2 by the sword intent and collapsed. Who is it? At the moment, when the gate of the manor was split in 2 by this sword, a low shout was heard, and then a figure shot out violently. The person who came was Yan Nanfei. Yan Nanfei looked at the man with the knife fiercely, but then he set his eyes on Liu Chunan. Jal Palace. Liu Chunan, it seems that you are from the general's palace, but you came uninvited and cut down my village gate with a knife. Do you want to keep you? Yan Nanfei's expression was cold. Humph. Just because you want to keep us, I will chop off your head today. The man with the knife snorted coldly when he heard it. The sound was like thunder, sweeping towards Yan Nanfei. A petty trick. Yan Nanfei also snorted coldly. Then a mocking sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth, and his 5 fingers clenched tightly without any pause. A stream of energy appeared on his fist, and then condensed. Boom. A punch was thrown out. The energy formed a half-moon arc, and attacked the man holding the long knife. Is this a test? Then you underestimate me too much. The man with the knife snorted coldly. The sword intent on his body changed instantly, and an indescribable gloom and terror appeared on his long sword. Boom! The long sword slashed out instantly. It collided with the attacking key gang. Bang! The sound in the key force exploded instantly, sweeping around. The wall of the manor was shattered by the key force at this moment. It collapsed. Boom! After the attack, the figure of the man who drew the sword soared into the air. The key force around him poured into the long sword in his hand like seawater, and the cold breath surged out from the long sword. Divine power. The sea of swords is like a tide. Boom boom! A series of virtual images of seawater appeared behind him, and the seawater condensed into a sword shadow above the virtual image. It cooperated with the long sword in his hand. Kill the world with the sword. The momentum was surging, and the sword force was fierce. With one sword, the sky and the earth changed color, and everything around seemed to be suppressed by the sword. The cold blood-colored sword light enveloped Yan Nanfei. So strong. Liu Chunan, who followed the 3 people, was shocked when she saw the sword. His eyes turned to Yan Nanfei, who was under the sword light. At this moment, Yan Nanfei's eyes condensed, and a terrifying sword intent burst out from his body. A vortex-like divine power appeared in the sword intent. The divine power condensed, but did not release, but instead swallowed the surrounding breath. The soft sword on his waist came out in an instant. A sword thundered. A flash of lightning appeared in the sky. Then the sword light collided with the sword light in the darkness. Swish. Then the thunder split the opponent's tide-like sword. With this little strength, you dare to come to me. One strike shattered the tide-like sword light. Yan Nanfei stepped on the ground, and his figure instantly soared into the air. The long sword in his hand slashed out, and a thunder appeared in the sword light. This is the thunder sword art he has recently practiced. The sword came out, and the thunder rose. The eyes of the man who drew the knife became cold. He didn't expect that his sword would be cut by the opponent's long sword. Kill. With a low shout, a cold sword energy burst out from his body, and the sword energy flowed to his long sword, and a layer of frost appeared on the long sword. Boom. The long sword was carrying a rolling cold air, and it chopped towards the long sword. But when the long swords collided with each other, the thunder and the cold air collided, and a wave of energy appeared. But at the moment when the energy wave appeared, the long sword in Yan Nanfei's hand seemed to have a suction force. The thunder and the cold air instantly went to the opponent's arm. At this moment, the face of the man who drew the sword changed. He immediately cut off the energy flowing into the long sword. But at the moment when he cut off the energy of the long sword, suddenly a terrifying sword energy poured towards him like a flood. Not good. The man who drew the sword gave a look of horror. Without time to think, his body suddenly moved and retreated violently behind him. But Yan Nanfei had already made a move. How could he let him retreat as he wished? He wanted to defeat the opponent in one fell swoop. The internal ki flowed, transformed into a terrifying sword ki, sweeping towards the opponent, not giving the opponent a chance to retreat. Bang! The sword ki hit the man with the knife like a surging sea. The long knife in the man's hand flew out, and the whole body flew backwards and hit a big tree. Crack! The tree broke, and the man in black spurted out a mouthful of blood. The mask on his face fell off, revealing the face of a middle-aged man. The face was very ordinary and there was no feature. You can't even block my attack. I don't know why you have the courage to come. Yan Nanfei showed contempt on his face. Roar. Just as Yan Nanfei's voice fell, the middle-aged man who was knocked away by his attack let out a low roar. A scarlet color appeared in his eyes. When this scarlet color appeared, a terrifying blood appeared on this person. Well, at this time, when the terrifying blood appeared, Yan Nanfei's expression condensed. Because when the opponent's blood and ki burned, he actually melted the sword energy he left in his body. The meridians in his body that had just been shattered by the sword energy also recovered immediately. Along with the gushing of blood and ki, a wave of destruction rippled through his body. I will tear you apart and devour your blood. A low roar came from the opponent's mouth. Chapter 932. God's blood. Blood of fierce beasts, sword cuts, heads fly. HMM. Seeing this, Yan Nanfei's eyes became solemn. The power of his sword just now was extraordinary. But the opponent recovered from his injuries in the blink of an eye, which was completely unexpected for him. Do you feel incredible? Do you think your sword energy can seriously injure me? Tell you, your sword energy is not very useful to us. The leader looked at Yan Nanfei with cold eyes. You can die without much pain if you are killed by a sword. If you let him use such power, you will die miserably, the leader continued. Humph. Then let me see how strong you are. While Yan Nanfei was speaking, his figure rushed out violently, and the long sword in his hand attacked the opponent's throat at a very fast speed. Blood god armor. Just when Yan Nanfei drew his sword, the man with the knife roared, and a blood color appeared on his body, and the blood color kept flowing to form a layer of armor. And he raised his hand and punched. A layer of armor also appeared on the fist. Boom. The fist collided with the long sword. A blood-colored wave shattered the sword energy and poured into Yan Nanfei's long sword. Crack. The long sword shattered. A stream of blood and energy poured into Yan Nanfei's body. Yan Nanfei used the great purple sun hand to absorb the blood and energy poured into his body. But when he absorbed this blood and energy, suddenly, a shocking roar sounded, and with this roar, a shocking violent aura appeared in his body. Yan Nanfei suddenly beat out this blood and energy, and his figure quickly retreated. Puff. When his figure fell, a mouthful of blood spurted out of his mouth. There was still a trace of madness in his eyes. This blood and energy. Yan Nanfei was horrified. You want to absorb my blood and ki? We are all people who absorb divine blood. The blood and ki have the power of divine blood. You dare to absorb it? You are really looking for death. Seeing Yan Nanfei who was injured by a blow, the leader sneered. Divine blood, that blood and ki carries a terrifying murderous intent and violent aura. It is completely the blood of a fierce beast. How can it be divine blood? Yan Nanfei said coldly. That's because you can't experience the power of divine blood. Don't waste time, kill him, and then go see Li Chen's how. The leader looked at the injured Yan Nanfei and said. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, the person who had attacked earlier shot violently. His eyes revealed cruelty, and a terrifying blood and ki appeared on his body. A layer of terrifying phantom appeared above the blood and ki. The phantom was the shadow of a fierce beast whose appearance could not be seen. Roar. With a low roar, a violent figure appeared in front of Yan Nanfei. A punch was thrown, and Yan Nanfei retreated rapidly when he saw this. Die. Heavy blood. The man who attacked Yan Nanfei shouted as he retreated. The blood and ki gushed out of his body like a tide, turned into a terrifying pressure, and rushed towards Yan Nanfei. Yan Nanfei's body was immediately affected. Tear you apart. Yan Nanfu's body was blocked, and his expression changed. Go. At this time, something was thrown out of the courtyard. Yan Nanfu grabbed it. It was a long sword. After receiving the long sword, Yan Nanfu's eyes were happy. This was a weapon level sword. This was what he had just obtained in the transaction, but he had a soft sword on him, so the long sword was not brought out. The long sword was unsheathed, and then a sword was slashed. Boom. The long sword intersected with the fist that was bombarded. Bang. Yan Nanfu's long sword blocked the opponent's attack, but his body was shocked and retreated dozens of steps. As for the punch, the armor on his fist was broken, and drops of blood flowed from the fist. You have a top level weapon in your hand. Seeing this, the leader looked at Yan Nanfu with a fixed look. While speaking, he looked into the hall of the manor. Just now someone threw out a long sword, which means there are still people in the manor. Since you are here, come out, the leader said coldly. Boom. Just as he was speaking, suddenly a figure flew out of the manor, and the figure flashed in front of the puncher. The long sword in his hand slashed out instantly. The sword light was filled with black aura, and the speed was extremely fast. The puncher roared, and a layer of blood-colored armor appeared on his fist again, but a layer of black appeared on this armor. Of course, when this black blood appeared, the aura of the puncher became more violent, and a layer of black appeared in his eyes. The shadow of the beast in his blood began to become clear. It was a giant crocodile. Boom. The fist blasted out. Bang. The fist collided with the long sword, but the dark blood armor on the opponent's fist was not broken. Liu Shengaijian, who drew his sword, had a fixed look in his eyes. The long sword in his hand was also a top-level weapon. This blow did not break the opponent's fist. Roar. Just when he was surprised, the man who punched let out a low roar, and suddenly a violent aura swept towards Liu Shengaijian. Liu Shengaijian looked calm, grasped the long sword in his hand, stepped forward, and chopped again with the sword. After the chop, the sword was quickly retracted and chopped again. This blood armor is a bit complicated, but if it can't be broken with one sword, then chop the second sword. Liu Shengaijian took one step and one sword. The man who punched could only resist, and his figure was constantly chopped back by Liu Shengaijian. Seeing this situation, the leader glanced at the person next to him. The person next to him took a step forward, and a stick slid out from his wide robe. The stick appeared, and he pulled with both hands to form a long stick. Boom. The figure stepped out. The long stick in his hand shook and went towards Liu Shengaijian. Seeing this, Yan Nanfu's face changed, and he wanted to attack. But at this time, a terrifying blood energy appeared on the person in the lead, and the blood energy pressed towards Yan Nanfu. Yan Nanfu's body was blocked. At this time, the long stick had already crossed out, going towards Liu Shengaijian. Liu Shengaijian turned the long sword in his hand and blocked the falling long stick. Boom. The terrifying power burst out. The ground under Liu Shengaijian's feet shattered, but he blocked this violent attack. When he blocked this attack, a terrifying blood energy wave broke out from the person holding the stick. This blood energy was very similar to the previous person. Violent, bloodthirsty, and violent. A layer of black blood light also appeared in his eyes. The violent aura pressed on Liu Shengaijian's mind. Kill. Seeing this, the previous person also attacked Liu Shengaijian. At this moment, a black light appeared in Liu Shengaijian's eyes. The magic blood power in his body began to stimulate. When he made his move just now, he did not activate the devil blood in his body, but the two people were obviously in different states, so he activated the devil blood directly. Boom. At the moment of activating the devil blood, a terrifying aura erupted in Liu Shengaijian's body. As this aura erupted, a terrifying devilish intention spread out. At the moment this devilish intention spread out, the two people who had violent auras on their bodies before seemed to be affected by something, and a trace of instinctive fear flashed in their eyes. Their bodies were affected. At this moment, swish, the long sword in Liu Shengaijian's hand instantly slashed out. Puff. The heads of the two people instantly flew out. Blood sprayed. The bodies fell to the ground. Chapter 933. Violence breaks out. Blood ignites spontaneously. Identity is not simple. Looking at the two corpses on the ground, Liu Shengaijian's eyes condensed. He knew that the magic blood in his body had just been aroused, which affected the consciousness of the other two. That allowed him to cut off their heads with 2 swords. He looked at the leader. Who are you? What just happened to you? Why did I feel terrified? The leader looked at Liu Shengyi-jian with a gloomy look. I'm Liu Shengyi-jian from the Qinglong Society. Who are you? Liu Shengyi-jian looked at the other party. If he hadn't aroused the magic blood in his body just now, he might not have been able to kill these 2 people. You also have divine blood in your body. How did you get it? The leader did not answer Liu Shengyi-jian who he was. Instead, he asked Liu Shengyi-jian how he got the magic blood in his body. Divine blood. I don't know what you are talking about. It seems that the blood and ki in your body, which is like that of a fierce beast, is caused by the so-called divine blood, but the nature of the fierce beast is so strong. How can it be called divine blood? I think it's just beast blood. Liu Shengyi-jian said, looking for death. Hearing Liu Shengyi-jian say so, a fierce light appeared in the eyes of the leader, and the fierce light was extremely violent. A divine power appeared on him. A shadow of a black giant eagle appeared in the divine power. The giant eagle roared and emitted a terrifying wave, and the fierceness swept towards Liu Shengyi-jian. The divine power condenses. Liu Shengyi-jian's eyes condensed when he saw this situation. No. This is a fierce beast hidden in the divine power. Then Liu Shengyi-jian immediately realized that something was wrong and knew what was going on. This giant eagle was obviously the same as the blood and blood beast emanating from the 2 people before, but this person integrated this power into the divine power. Increase the power of his own divine power. Interesting. Just when Liu Shengyi-jian was about to make a move, suddenly, a voice came from the courtyard. With the voice, a figure walked out. It was Li Chenzhao who came. He looked at the other party's divine power and the fierceness emanating from the giant eagle, with a hint of curiosity in his calm eyes. Li Chenzhao, the 3rd leader of the Qinglong Society. Seeing the person who appeared, Liu Chunan was shocked. She had never expected that Li Chenzhao would be here this time. Li Chenzhao alone overwhelmed the 12 middle schools in Tingzhou. It can be said that he was absolutely powerful. I'm very interested in your identity. If I take you down, I should be able to know a lot of things. Li Chenzhao looked at the other party calmly and said. The reason why he appeared was that he was curious about the other party's identity. Whether the other party has divine blood or the blood of a fierce beast in his body. This is not ordinary. Because this kind of power is integrated, it increases the strength of the other party. Even if you are at the same level, the other party's fierceness bursts out, armor appears on his body, or the violent aura can suppress your divine power. This makes the battle one-sided. So we must find out the origin of the other party. Looking for death. Seeing Li Chenzhao's contempt, the eyes of the leader became violent. His figure soared into the air, and the whole person seemed to turn into a giant eagle, and his palms were like eagle claws. Goshawk split the ground. A wave of terrifying blood and violent mental power went towards Li Chenzhao. 5 surging claws were shrouding Li Chenzhao, trying to penetrate his body. That fierceness has little effect on him. Li Chenzhao muttered as he watched the 5 claws falling. Boom. When the claws approached Li Chenzhao's body, a terrifying energy burst out from Li Chenzhao's body, and the claws were shattered directly under this terrifying energy. How is this possible? The man who made the move looked at his claws, being shattered directly under the opponent's energy, and his face showed disbelief. Boom. At this moment, Li Chenzhao's aura changed. A terrifying domineering aura swept out, and when the domineering aura appeared, he raised his hand and clenched his fist. Then he punched out, and the fist did not hit the body of the leader, but the giant eagle in the divine power behind him. As if sensing the power of the fist, the giant eagle roared. The roar caused the man's eyes to turn red. The blood in his body began to burn at this moment. All the burning energy poured into the giant eagle, and the giant eagle received the power of the burning blood. A fierceness appeared in his eyes. Boom. He attacked Li Chenzhao with his fist. Bang. Just when the fist collided with the giant eagle, suddenly, a bright light burst out from the fist and poured into the giant eagle's body. The giant eagle exploded directly. At the moment the giant eagle exploded, a mouthful of blood spurted out of the mouth of the puncher. His figure suddenly stopped and screamed. In the scream, his meridians were broken, the blood on his skin burst, and scars appeared, and blood sprayed. Li Chen's expression changed, and his figure appeared in front of the other party. He raised his hand and a stream of energy poured into the other party's body. But when his energy poured into the other party's body, the blood in the other party's body suddenly burned, burning all the energy that Li Chen's poured into his body. Instant. The whole body of the puncher seemed to be burning. When the blood and ki were burning, his eyes became colorless. Boom. Li Chen's eyes changed. He didn't expect this to happen. The terrifying energy in his palm fell, and endless power poured into the other party's body, suppressing all the burning blood. Plop. The other party fell to the ground. For a while, there was only exhalation, no inhalation. Li Chen's took out a pill, and put it into the other party's mouth. The other party's breath became peaceful, but there was still no color in his eyes. 3 dragon heads. The other party's consciousness was burned away by that power. The identities of these people are not simple, Yan Nanfei said after checking. Send him to Jiangnan, Qinglang Society, for Mr. Zhuge to study. Although he has no consciousness, his body is still there, and he can find some clues, Li Chenhao ordered. Then he looked at Liu Chunan. Is this the power behind Du Guiwei to support him? Li Chenhao asked. It should be. According to my secret understanding, there should be 3 forces supporting Du Guiwei, and these people are just one of them. Liu Chunan said hurriedly. Now that he has actually betrayed the Paradise Palace, he must seize the fire of the Blue Dragon Society. 3 forces. Your Paradise Palace counts as one. Our Paradise Palace, the ancient key sect of the South China Sea and the 13 islands of the South China Sea are one of them. As for the other 2, I can only roughly guess, and I don't know who they are specifically, Liu Chunan said hurriedly. Is that so? It seems that the power behind Du Guiwei is not simple. You report what happened here, but don't say that I took action. Just tell us about the battle scene between Liu Shengyejin and the other party. You don't need to take the corpse back. These 2 corpses and the person who is not dead yet are all worth studying, and Li Chenhao will send them away. Yes. Liu Chunan bowed and left quickly. Chapter 934 Characters. Yan Kuang-tu, Jellyfish Ji, and the people behind Liu Bowen, Jiangnan. Suching, in the courtyard, it can affect the mind, and has super strong physical defense. The divine blood they are talking about is not ordinary. Su Chen frowned slightly when he heard what Yuan Suan said. The blood he obtained was drawn by the system. The other party has such a thing. Although it is low level blood, it is definitely not ordinary to have such a thing. It seems that to investigate such information, Su Chen said. My lord, we don't have many people in the South China Sea area now. If we want to investigate, I'm afraid we need to mobilize people to the South China Sea area. Yuan Suan said. Recently, no masters have been drawn, but the strength of the strong men in China Pavilion has been strengthened. If the East Pavilion outside the Seiwei moves, it will be too far away from the South China Sea area. Yi and Ri Hao have improved their strength, and the 2 of them can go to the South China Sea area. Su Chen thought in his heart. The 10 Directions General Envoy of Guan Yushan in the South China Sea area can't handle it. You notify Yi and Ri Hao and let them go to the South China Sea secretly. Su Chen ordered. The host's subordinates, Wu Du Tongzi and Cui Wuhu, controlled all the Jianghu forces in the Huayuan area that participated in the gathering of the Liu Palace, and were awarded with 3 orange lottery cards. At this time, a voice sounded in Su Chen's ears. Hearing this voice, Su Chen's brows moved slightly. This is to rule. The 2 controlled all the Jianghu forces that participated in the Liu Palace. This is a catch-all, not a single one is left. Wu Du Tongzi and Cui Wuhu are too awesome. Su Chen could only say this. At that time, the Liu King might be overwhelmed with blood and ki. Looking at these 3 orange lottery cards, Su Chen directly drew these 3 orange lottery cards. Get the character Yan Kuang-tu, get the character Jellyfish Ji, and get a water walking DZIB exclusive character Jellyfish Ji. Seeing these 3 rewards, Su Chen's eyes were slightly stunned. I haven't drawn a character for a long time, but I didn't expect to draw 2 characters as soon as I came, including Yan Kuang-tu. Hurry up and check. Yan Kuang-tu, a character in Wen Ruins, The Heroes of Shenzhou, is the founder of the Quanli gang and the father of Li Shenzhou. He can be said to be the best master in Wenshu. After all, Yan Kuang-tu has 3 titles in Wenshu: the world's first strange man, the world's first madman, and the world's strongest man. From these titles, we can see how strong the other party is. He practices both internally and externally, and his strength is terrifying. Chen knows all this. He looked at the introduction of Yan Kuang-tu's strength. Half a step into the realm, and there is also a note, born with a mad body, a full burst can be comparable to a strong man in the virtual realm. This is more powerful than Chen language. Chen saw this. He sighed in his heart. It's not enough to look at Shen Lang and add another powerful master. Then he looked at Jellyfish Yanji, the palace master of Shenshu Palace, in Gulong's novel Thrush. Her martial arts are unique, and she has the unparalleled internal force Xianshu divine art practiced in the water. A figure as famous as Tai Zongtang, in the legend of the rivers and lakes, the soul of iron. Tai Zongtang, the mother of water, is a jellyfish Yanji. Her palm method is comparable to Tai Zongtang's palm method that dominates the world, both of which are very fierce. Chen looked at the strength of the jellyfish Yanji, and when she was at the peak of concentration in the sea, there was a note with the word broken behind her. Now Chen has understood the characters with the note of broken. Even if he practices normally, he can step into the gate of heaven. Then he looked at the last water walking celestial bead related to the jellyfish Yanji. Water walking celestial bead, a treasure with water attributes, which can help water attribute practitioners improve their strength. After integrating into the body, they can breathe in the water, and can use water to burst out more powerful power. Chen felt that he had a big explosion this time. Cui Wuhu and Wudu Tangzi are both lucky stars. Just now, I was still thinking about how to lay out in the South China Sea area, and now Jellyfish Yanji and Yan Kuang-tu appeared. The two went to the South China Sea area, and I believe that there will be news soon. Yan Kuang-tu's strength is a bit small for the position of the head of a pavilion. Chen thought about letting Yan Kuang-tu become the deputy leader of Xian'an Pavilion. As for Shumu Yanji, the deputy leader of Nun Pavilion, Yao Yu is one, and Shumu Yanji is the second. Let's see who will be the leader of Nun Pavilion in the future. Chen thought to himself. Qinglang Club is now almost full of strength, and Xian'an Pavilion will also be replenished in the near future. Chen is in a very good mood. At this moment, in a small courtyard of an inn in Jinling City, Cao Feng and the owner of the Tomb of the Dead, Li Han-qiu, are in the courtyard. Why did the evil god palace choose Jinling City as the location? Cao Feng said in a deep voice. I don't know why he chose this place for the time being, but this time he summoned people from the 4 major evil sects to gather together. It won't be a good thing. Li Han-qiu said in a deep voice. It doesn't matter. If something goes wrong, it depends on who is stronger. Cao Feng didn't care. Now his strength can be said to be much stronger than before. It seems that your strength has increased again. I don't know why your strength has increased so fast. Li Han-qiu looked at Cao Feng. Recently, she has been following Cao Feng. But Cao Feng gave him a feeling of increasing terror. She herself might not be Cao Feng's opponent now. Of course, she was very happy about Cao Feng's improvement in strength. The stronger Cao Feng was, the better it would be for her. The Lord of Yama Palace, Wei Dongjun, is here. I will go to see him later. You will go with me then. Li Han-qiu said. Lord of Yama Palace, Wei Dongjun, Oklahoma. Cao Feng nodded. He also wanted to know the reason why the evil god palace chose to gather in Jinling City through other people. In the city, in the black market, the lord of the evil god palace, Liu Boylan, looked at Benny Zuanming and said, I don't know. Have you thought about it? Liu Boylan said, this matter will be decided after the palace master becomes the leader of the 4 evil sects after the 4 sects gather together. I heard that the Qinglang Society has paid attention to this matter. Benny Zuanming said, is the Qinglang Society the overlord of Jinling City? They pay attention to me, so do I need to care about them? Liu Boylan said coldly. The tone did not take the Qinglang Society into consideration at all. If that's the case, then wait until our 4 evil sects gather together. Liu Boyuan did not force Bei Zuanming to express his opinion. He stood up while speaking, turned and left. Why did Liu Boyuan choose Jinling as the place where the four evil sects gather? Bei Zuanming never understood why Liu Boyuan did this. Walking out of the pavilion, a figure appeared in front of Liu Boyuan. He whispered something in his ear, and Liu Boyuan's expression changed. Then the two quickly left the black market in Jinling City. In the courtyard where Liu Boyuan lived. In a secret room. In the secret room. An old man in a grey robe was standing in the middle of the secret room, looking at the colorless wall. The old man was burly, and he exuded a terrifying ferocity. The blood and ki on his body was surging, and the blood and ki that emanated from him made people feel terrified. When Liu Boyuan entered the secret room, his hair stood on end. He was like being locked by a ferocious beast. Meet Elder Song. Liu Boyuan saluted the old man. The three people sent to the Tingsao area were killed by the Qinglang Society. What do you think about this? The old man looked at Liu Boyuan in a low voice. Hearing the old man's words, Liu Boyuan's eyes condensed. Elder Song, did the three people who went there undergo the baptism of divine blood? All of them did, and one of them merged with 2 drops of divine blood. Elder Song said. At this moment, Liu Boyuan's face changed. Chapter 935. The plan of the Betrayal Hall, the beauty scheme. Is there any damage to the Qinglang Society? Liu Boyuan calmed down and asked. After fusing 2 drops of divine blood, if one bursts out with all his strength, his body can resist weapon level weapons. He himself has fused 3 drops of divine blood, and knows the strength of people who have fused 2 drops of divine blood. According to the news, the Qinglang Society has no damage. The Liu Shengyejian who killed them. I have checked the information of Liu Shengyejian. He appeared in Jiangnan before. From the information I got, this person may have obtained divine blood. The origin of this Qinglang Society is a bit problematic and may threaten us. The old man said in a deep voice. What about the gathering of the 4 evil sects this time? Liu Boyuan said. Keep going. Your goal is to take down the 4 evil sects. If the Qinglang Society appears, perhaps we can find out more about their details. The old man said. I understand. Liu Boyuan said. I summoned you here not only for this matter, but also for the situation of Elder Qianqin in the black market. The Jiangnan black market runs through all parts of Jiangnan. It is very important to us and must be taken down. The old man said in a deep voice. Elder Qianqin has taken the bait, but his disciple Bei Zuanming is still hesitating. I think we can reward him with a drop of divine blood. I believe that he will be fascinated by the power of divine blood after seeing it. Liu Boyuan said. Even if it is the 3rd class divine blood, it cannot be given to anyone at will. The gift of divine blood needs to be reported to the Betrayal Hall. Wait a minute. If he disagrees, then we can talk about it. The old man waved his hand. Then I will take my leave first. Liu Boyuan bowed and left the secret room. After Liu Boyuan left the secret room, Elder Song pushed open a stone door and walked in. Inside the stone door, there was a huge round table. 4 people were sitting at the round table. One was a thin dark-skinned old man wearing a long golden gown. His face was expressionless, except for his prominent blue eyes, which gave off a sense of weirdness. Another was a middle-aged man wearing a green robe. His face was like a man, and his body was a bit burly. On his exposed arms, there was a layer of concave and convex scales, which gave off a cold glow. There was also a young man wearing white clothes. He looked normal, but his face was a bit pale. The last person was a woman. She was slender and beautiful. There was a small black mole under her right eye. She had long black hair, and wore a tight black dress, which showed off her figure. Seeing Elder Song coming in, the 4 of them did not stand up, but nodded slightly. Elder Song sat in the middle. 4 of you, I'm afraid that the trip to Jiangnan will not be as smooth as we thought. Elder Song said. Aren't we here to help Elder Song solve these problems? The man in the green robe said. Zhang Zuan, this is Jiangnan, not a small place. There are many masters. The dark-skinned old man beside him said in a deep voice. Zhang Liao, with our strength in Jiangnan, I'm afraid there won't be many opponents. The pale-faced young man said in a low voice. Hearing the two people's words, the Zangleo stopped talking and closed his eyes to rest. Before I came to see you, I got the news that the 3 people who went to the Tingzhou area were all dead. The one who attacked was Liu Shengyejian from the Qinglang Society. He should be the one who got the powerful blood, Elder Song said at this time. Hearing this, the expressions of the 3 people present changed, and even the old man who had closed his eyes before opened his eyes. Elder Song, you mean that there is divine blood in the Qinglang Society? The old man surnamed Zhang said. I don't know the specific situation, but even if there is, their divine blood will not be much. Elder Song said. In that case, there is no need to worry about this Qinglang Society. The middle-aged man in a green robe, Zhang Zuan, said. Don't be careless. Someone who went to Tingzhou is in trouble now. I want one of you to go to Tingzhou to deal with this matter. I don't know who of the 4 will go, Elder Song said. For a moment, the secret room was silent. Even the middle-aged man in green robe who just said that he didn't care about the Qinglang Club did not speak. If one person goes, there will be problems. I'll go. After a while, the woman in the black skirt spoke. Han Qian, you go? Elder Song frowned slightly. Elder Song, sometimes you don't have to fight to deal with things. It's just right for me to meet this Li Chenzhao and see if I can pull Li Chenzhao to our side. The woman called Han Qian said. Is that so? I will let the people in Tingzhou actively cooperate with you. When the matter in Jiangnan is dealt with, I will let Zhang Zuan go to help you. Hearing this, Elder Song spoke. This Han Qian has an extraordinary beauty. Maybe she can take down Li Chenzhao. If they can take down Li Chenzhao, then they will know more about the Qinglang Club. The other 3 will stay in Jiangnan. Elder Song stood up and left the secret room. In the secret room, Han Qian, this Li Chenzhao is not simple. You have to be careful. The dark-skinned old man turned around and left from another stone door. As for the middle-aged man and the pale young man, they nodded slightly and left. At this time, another place, a restaurant, outside a side room. Qiao Feng and Li Hanqiu appeared, and they pushed the door and entered. Inside the side room, Wei Dongjin stood up and looked at the 2 people who appeared, with surprise in his eyes. Palace Master Wei, I'm Li Hanqiu, the new master of the Dead Man's Tomb. This is the leader of the Beggars sect, Qiao Feng. Li Hanqiu introduced Wei Dongjin after seeing Wei Dongjin's surprise. Please take a seat. Wei Dongjin asked the 2 to sit down. I don't know who the leader Qiao and the master Li are. Wei Dongjin didn't say all the words, but the meaning was very clear. He invited Li Hanqiu today to discuss the matter of the 4 evil sects. Qiao Feng is the leader of the Beggars sect, and there are some things that need to be avoided. Master Qiao is not only the leader of the Beggars sect, but also the first deputy master of my Dead Man's Tomb, Li Hanqiu said. Upon hearing this news, the Yama Palace master's expression changed. He did not expect that Qiao Feng, the leader of the Beggars sect who is now famous in Jiangnan, would actually be the first deputy master of the Dead Man's Tomb. Then there is nothing to worry about. This time, I invited you 2 to come here to see what Dead Man's Tomb thinks about the 4 family gathering of the Evil God Palace. Yama Palace Master Wei Dongjin said. Master Wei, what do you think? Li Hanqiu said. I think Liu Boyuan of the Evil God Palace wants to unify the 4 evil sects this time. Wei Dongjin said directly. To unify the 4 evil sects, does Liu Boyuan have the strength to do so? Li Hanqiu snorted coldly. The 4 evil sects, although they are often linked together, there is actually no connection between the 4 families. I have been investigating this Liu Boyuan recently. He went to the black market twice recently. Did he meet Bei Zuanming, the current head of the black market, twice? Wei Dongjin said. Bei Zuanming is just the owner of the black market. Does he want Bei Zuanming to help him deal with us? This is unlikely. Li Hanqiu frowned slightly when he heard this. Master Li may not know that there is a person behind Bei Zuanming, his master, named Qianqin Elder. This Qianqin Elder is the junior brother of the founder of the Jinling black market, and his strength is extraordinary. I guess Liu Boyuan actually met this Qianqin Elder, Wei Dongjin said. Chapter 936, Lure the tiger away from the mountain. Li Zunhuan leaves Jinling. Old man Qian, the junior brother of the founder of the Jinling black market. Li Hanqiu's eyebrows moved when he heard this. Although he didn't know the founder of the Jinling black market. But the black market in Jinling City is the link of the Jiangnan black market, and the various interests are intricate. To be able to establish such a black market, the strength must be extremely strong. This old man Qian is not the founder, but he is the founder's junior brother, and his strength must be extraordinary. You mean Liu Boylan? Maybe he will be asked to deal with us. Li Hanqiu said. It's possible, so I asked the two Mona this time, thinking about cooperation between the two parties. Wei Dongjin said. In fact, this is also the reason why I came this time. Li Hanqiu said. Palace Master Wei, Jinling City is not ordinary now. What is the intention of Liu Boylan, the leader of the evil god palace, to choose to be here? Qiao Feng, who was standing aside, said, I haven't investigated the specific intention, but I got a message from the capital. It is said that the evil god palace wants to unite with Shiana Pavilion and the general's palace to deal with the Green Dragon Society that entered the North-South Canal. Wei Dongjin said in a deep voice. What? Hearing this, Li Hanqiu and Qiao Feng's faces changed. Of course, Qiao Feng's expression was fake. He had received a message from Bei Chaofei about the evil god palace's plan to unite with Shiana Pavilion and the general's palace to deal with the Green Dragon Society that entered the North-South Canal. Palace Master Wei, you can get such news. I believe that with the ability of the Qinglong Society, they must have known about this matter. Liu Boylan would know about this matter. He also chose this place for us. I think there are two possibilities. First, he wants to test the Qinglong Society to see how it reacts. Second, he wants to set up a trap to deal with the Qinglong Society and drag us into his carriage. Li Hanqiu said, after thinking for a moment. This is also the reason why I asked you two to cooperate with me. The Qinglong Society is not simple. If they intervene, it may be extremely disadvantageous to us. Therefore, my Yama Palace will not participate in it. Wei Dongjin said, Palace Master Wei, and I have the same idea about this matter. Li Hanqiu also said, if that's the case, then there is no problem. Now our intentions are completely consistent. I believe our cooperation will be very pleasant. Wei Dongjin said. Then the three of them chatted about some things. Black Market, Qinglong Society base. In the pavilion, Li Zunhuan looked at the letter that had just been sent by Yuan Qianhuan of the Jiangnan Pacification Division. His eyes were slightly condensed. The content of the letter was, inform Li Zunhuan that the trace of the heavenly concubine has been found in Sucheng. I hope Li Zunhuan will take people to Sucheng today to help them attack the heavenly concubine of the demon sect. He handed the letter to Ah Fei, who was standing beside him. Ah Fei took the letter, then his eyes turned cold, and he said, brother, the evil god palace invited the three evil sects to come to Jinling City. It is rumored that they will gather tomorrow. At this time, Yuan Qianhuan asked you to take people to Sucheng. Is he helping the evil god palace? It seems that Yuan Qianhuan came to cooperate before, just to make a plan, and he calculated it well. Li Zunhuan said. At this time, transferring him away can be said to be completely cooperating with the evil god palace. Brother, how should we arrange it here? Ah Fei said. Since the other party wants to play a show, let them play it well. I want to see what plans they have in the future. Li Zunhuan said coldly, the strength of the Green Dragon Society in Jinling City in the south of the Yangtze River can be said to be extremely powerful because the headquarters of the Green Dragon Society has been moved to Jinling City in the south of the Yangtze River. Moreover, Zhu Zhengwo, Zhao Qiushu and others are already in Jinling City, but outsiders don't know about it. You go and inform Yan Nanshan and Ingpeng that we will go to Sucheng together today, Li Zunhuan said. If you want to put on a show, then do it in full. The three dragon heads, plus Ah Fei, such a Linoop leaving Jinling, I believe it will make people want to see it. Yes, I will arrange it now. Ah Fei said and left the pavilion. Soon, the four of them left the black market and left Jinling City. This news was also spread at the first time. In the black market, Bei Zuanming was stunned when he got the news. At this time, Li Zunhuan left Jinling, and the two dragon heads followed him. Only Wei Zhuang, the 7th dragon head, was left. What's the situation? Does the Qinglang Society not intend to ask about the affairs of the evil god palace? Bei Zuanming murmured. Liu Boyan, did you know this a long time ago? Bei Zuanming thought of this, and his face became solemn. At this moment, Wei Dongjin and his wing room were opened. The man walked up to Wei Dongjin's ear and said something. Then Wei Dongjin's face changed, and he waved his hand to let him leave. What happened to Palace Master Wei? Seeing Wei Dongjin's face change, Li Hanqiu couldn't help but ask. Just got the news that the 2nd dragon head of the Green Dragon Society, Li Zunhuan, left Jinling City with the 5th and 6th dragon heads. Wei Dongjin said in a deep voice. They left at this time, so who from the Green Dragon Society is in Jinling City now? Li Hanqiu couldn't help but ask. From the information we got, only the 7th dragon head Wei Zhuang is in Jinling City. Wei Dongjin frowned and said, it is rumored that the strength of this 7th dragon head Wei Zhuang has not reached the level of sea concentration. Is there no hall master of the Green Dragon Society in Jiangnan? Li Hanqiu said. The 12 hall masters of the Qinglang Society are all very strong, not inferior to the dragon head of the Qinglang Society. I haven't received any news yet. Is there a hall master of the Qinglang Society in Jinling City? Does the Qinglang Society intend to ignore the gathering of the 4 evil sects? Wei Dongjin said. The 4th dragon head of the Qinglang Society, Fu Hongsu, is in Jinling City. I contacted him before coming to Jinling City and was planning to visit him when I have time. At this time, Kaio Feng on the side said, have you had contact with the 4 dragon heads of the Qinglang Society? Li Hanqiu asked in confusion. I have met him once. When I helped Lian Chengbi of Wookiee Villa, I dealt with Fu Hongsu once, Kaio Feng said. But the strength of this Fu Hongsu, that is, the Sea of Concentration, is probably not Liu Boyan's opponent, Wei Dongjin said in a deep voice. The strength of the dragon head of the Qinglang Society is well known in the outside world. Fu Hongsu has also taken action several times, and everyone knows his strength. I have been in contact with Fu Hongsu, and what the outside world sees is not his true strength, Kaio Feng said. But the affairs of the Qinglang Society have little to do with us. It is not our help either, but at this time, Li Zunhuan of the Qinglang Society took people away, revealing a lot of things. I'm afraid that Liu Boyan of the Evil God Palace knows about it. This time the 4 sects gather together, I'm afraid there will be big waves. Kaio Feng said in a deep voice, I'm now interested. I really want to see what Liu Boyan is planning. Wei Dongjin said. Continue with 3 updates in the afternoon, and 4 updates, if you have the ability. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 937. King Liu gathers in the martial arts world, and someone objects as soon as he opens his mouth. Huoyan District Liu Palace. The gate faces south, is unusually wide, has 5 steps, and there are 2 huge stone lions on both sides, with angry eyes and majestic expressions. Guards with long swords stood around the vermilion gate. The palace manager smiled and kept bowing to the people who came. The long street in front of the gate was busy with cars and people coming and going. Many powerful people from the Huoyuan area gathered here. Of course, there are 9 counties in Huoyuan district, and each county has at least 2 or 3 forces. These people did not come alone. That's why the entire Liu Palace looks so lively. Cui Wu followed the crowd and entered the palace. Cui Wu was dressed in a black robe, and his aura had changed greatly because of his strength improvement, and there was a hint of danger. He was the leader today. The 5 poison boy did not show up because of his body shape and hid behind the scenes. Not far in front of him, Liu Liking was wearing a green robe, showing her figure, which attracted many people's attention. When she entered the palace, is that Liu Liking from the Grudge sect? She has a nice figure, but it looks like she's already been developed. I wonder who she is? In the palace, a young man in brocade clothes looked at Liu Liking who entered the palace and said, "Prince, I'm interested in this LIU liking. If you're interested, I'll bring her to your room tonight." An old man with a pointed face and monkey cheeks beside him said softly. The young man in brocade clothes was Niwu, the fifth son of King Liu. "Yes, I'm interested. Bring her to my room tonight." Niwu nodded. At this moment, in the spacious courtyard, there is also a huge platform. On the platform, there is a golden armchair. Under the armchair, there are 3 chairs on the left and right. There is no doubt that the golden armchair must be the seat where King Liu sits. The 3 tables and chairs below represent the 6 great generals under King Liu. Luo Junshi, who went to the Tingsao area before, is one of them. But Luo Junshi is dead, and I don't know why there are still 6 chairs. There were dozens of chairs placed under the steps. Some people sat down on these chairs one after another. There was a lot of noise. Many warriors from Huayuan were talking. They were talking about the recent events in the martial arts world. In addition to the Kinglan Club and Shianaya Pavilion, there were also the 4 evil sects, the North-South Canal, the changes in the capital, the 4 great families in Jiangnan, and other things. There was an endless stream of voices. Behind these dozens of chairs, there were some warriors and Huayuan area independent practitioners who also received some invitations. But these people did not have a place. They were scattered everywhere. Anyway, the courtyard was as wide as a square. Suddenly, the voices of conversation disappeared in an instant. The tall king of split martial arts appeared and sat on the golden chair on the platform. Behind him followed 6 people. The 5 of them had violent auras and were filled with a terrifying murderous intent. There was also an old man in a black robe. The old man's aura was restrained and no aura could be sensed. After King of Split Martial Arts sat down, the 6 people also sat down. Sitting on the chair, King of Split Martial Arts looked a little bad. He sent Luo Junshi to Xianhuan sect, hoping to take it down, but he didn't expect that Xianhuan sect had already been taken down by Li Chenzhao. Needless to say, Luo Junshi's whereabouts must have been killed by Li Chenzhao. How could he look good when he lost a general under his command? Today, I summoned everyone here mainly for one thing, that is, I'm going to form a group of guards for the palace. After you go back, send the 5 strongest men in your forces to the palace to become my palace guards. You will do this when you go back and complete it within 10 days. King Liu said. For a while, the scene became even quieter, and the faces of the people sitting there all sank. The military force in the Huayuan region is weak. There are few strong men in the major forces, and 5 strong men have to be sent to join the palace at once, so the main combat power of the major forces will be damaged. They have occupied one side by relying on the advantage of a few people. If the strong men disappear, then the forces in the region that were previously weaker than them will have a chance to come forward. Then their own forces would be in danger. They looked at the people beside them to see what they thought. Not far away, 2 people wearing bamboo hats were looking at the king of split martial arts sitting on the stage. One of them was holding a long sword. What does this king of split martial arts want to do by gathering warriors from the Huayuan area? The person who was not holding a long sword said in a deep voice. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this king of split martial arts will die today. The person holding a long sword beside him said. Brother Yan, king of split martial arts is not ordinary. You can kill him alone, but in this situation, if you do it, you will definitely be blocked. At that time, he will run away, and you can't kill him. Yan Shizhen beside him said. Song Lunhu, can't you assassinate king of split martial arts with your strength? The person holding a long sword spoke up. The 2 people were Yan Shizhen and Song Lunhu. I have assassinated king of split martial arts twice, but I was discovered by an old man beside him before I got close to him. That man's strength is above mine, but even if I get close to king of split martial arts, I'm afraid I can't kill him. Song Lunhu said. King Liu was a king of a different surname canonized by the great Zhao dynasty. This not only represents King Liu's identity, but also represents King Liu's strength. If King Liu had no strength, he would have died in Song Lunhu's hands long ago. This is why he asked to become the helmsman of the Huayuan area of the Kinglan Club. There was silence at the scene. King Liu's face looked even uglier. He didn't expect that someone in the Huayuan area would dare to disobey his orders. He looked at the housekeeper standing not far away. At this time, the housekeeper stepped forward and said, "Do you have any opinions from the major forces? If you have any opinions, please raise them." While the housekeeper was speaking, a middle-aged man in a green robe stood up. "Your Majesty, General Manager Yuan, our HAO sect does not have many masters. Once the 5 strongest people in the gang are sent to the palace, the strength of our HAO sect will be directly weakened. By then, I'm afraid that our HAO sect will be replaced by other forces. Your Majesty, I think you should take back your order," the middle-aged man said. Someone spoke. For a time, many people began to talk. Cui Woohoo looked at King Liu on the stage. He wanted to see what King Liu would do at this time. King Liu sat upright, without saying a word, but looked at the leader of HAO sect who spoke. Boom. At this time, the aura of General Manager Yuan changed, and a terrifying aura went towards the leader of HAO sect. Boom, boom, boom. The face of the leader of HAO sect changed, and he suddenly felt that his heart seemed to be beating rapidly, as if it was out of control. With the pressure, the sound of the heartbeat became deafening. Seeing this, the leader of HAO sect burst out with his ki, trying to resist this pressure. But when his ki burst out, the pressure changed even more, directly shattering his ki. The moment his ki was shattered, his blood began to rush out of his blood vessels, as if it was out of control. Chapter 938. They are all my people, unpredictable, and the poison is everywhere. The leader of HAO sect turned pale for a moment, and he wanted to speak, but couldn't make a sound. Seeing this, Cui Woohoo's eyes condensed. This Liu palace is really overbearing. They want to use the leader of HAO sect to scare the monkeys. But now the leader of HAO sect has been controlled by Cui Woohoo, so Cui Woohoo will not let the leader of HAO sect die. He stood up and came to the leader of HAO sect. Resist the pressure by himself. Although Cui Woohoo's cultivation is slow, he also has a lot of treasures. Now his physical strength is very strong. He can withstand the pressure of the opponent. Who are you? Looking at Cui Woohoo who appeared in front of the leader of HAO sect, the housekeeper Yuan shouted sternly. He didn't expect that at this time, Chen Yaojin would come out. "It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that the leader of HAO sect has a relationship with me," Cui Woohoo said coldly. Hearing Cui Woohoo's words, a cold light and a murderous intent appeared in the eyes of the housekeeper Yuan. "You said that HAO sect has something to do with you. What is his relationship with you?" Yuan Zhongwen asked coldly. "The leader of Heizong has led HAO sect to pledge allegiance to me. Do you think HAO sect has anything to do with me?" Cui Woohoo said coldly. "How dare you? The Huayuan area is under the jurisdiction of the prince, and the forces in the martial arts world are all under the control of the prince. HAO sect is also a hierarchical sect. How can he be loyal to you?" Hearing Cui Woohoo's words, Yuan Zhongwen said sternly. An angry look also appeared on his face. "Don't you believe it? I forgot to tell you that the 32 forces sitting here today have now declared their allegiance to me." After Cui Woohoo finished speaking, he looked at the leaders of the 32 forces sitting there. "Greetings, sir." After Cui Woohoo finished speaking, the people sitting below all stood up and saluted Cui Woohoo. The voice was deafening, and of course after the voice fell, the whole audience seemed extremely silent. The casual martial artists on the periphery were stunned when they saw this situation. They had never expected it to be like this. They had no idea what happened. How could it become like this? "You are so presumptuous, you are courting death." The Yuan chief steward who spoke was furious. Sitting on the golden chair, King Liu looked furious. His palm landed on the armrest of the chair. Crack. The palm crushed the armrest of the chair. "I didn't expect to see such a big show. Who is this person? He can control so many forces in Huayuan area at once," Song Lunhu said, while looking at Cui Woohoo on the scene. "His name is Cui Woohoo. He is the person next to Xiao Long Xiao. We are cooperating with him this time." Yan Shizhen, who was holding a long sword next to him, said. "The person next to Xiao Long Xiao?" Hearing Yan Shizhen's words, Song Lunhu was shocked. He didn't expect that there would be someone next to Xiao Long Xiao in Huayuan area. Although this person's strength is not very good, he is very valued by Xiao Long Xiao. "I'll give you a chance. If he has something to do, you can take action. Yan Shizhen said. Thank you, brother Yan. Song Lun, whose face showed joy when he heard this. This is giving him a chance. Who are you? King Liu calmed down and looked at Cui Woohoo. He wanted to see who the other party was, and how dare he subdue these forces in front of him. I'm Cui Woohoo, just a commoner. How dare you speak to the prince like this? I will kill you. Seeing this, the Yuan chief steward's energy surged, and he was about to go towards Cui Woohoo. You'd better not move, or you will die. Cui Woohoo looked at the Yuan chief steward and said coldly. But how could the Yuan chief steward listen to Cui Woohoo's words? But when he moved his feet, suddenly, blood began to flow from all 7 orifices. He wiped his palm. Black blood appeared in his hand. I'm poisoned, he said. Puff. As soon as the voice fell, a mouthful of blood spurted out, and then the whole person fell to the ground, spewing black blood from his mouth. In the blink of an eye, there was no breath. At this time, the old man in a black robe sitting below King Liu jumped in front of the Yuan chief steward. Reach out to check. What a powerful poison. His expression changed, and his face became solemn. My lord, the opponent's poison is very powerful. One strike will kill, the old man said to King Liu. At this moment, King Liu's eyes turned red. He looked at Cui Woohoo. You are the one who has been poisoning my King Liu mansion. Today, I will definitely take you down. Come on, surround and kill him. King Liu shouted. Groups of guards holding long swords appeared. As soon as these people appeared, they began to grab their faces with both hands, and then let out miserable cries. They fell to the ground and kept groaning. The whole scene seemed to be in an uproar, and the faces of the leaders of the forces around Cui Wu were also extremely horrified. They had seen this scene. Otherwise, they would not be loyal to Cui Woohoo. Here are 5 detoxification pills. You swallow them first. A bottle appeared in the hand of the old man in black robe, and 5 pills were poured out from it and handed to the 5 people beside him. These 5 people are the generals under King Liu, and nothing can happen to them. The 5 people quickly swallowed the detoxification pills. Your Majesty, I, Wang Zheng, will go and kill this man, one of them said. He grabbed the long knife next to the seat and stepped forward. However, when he stepped forward, he suddenly felt his heart beat faster, and his eyes became dark for a while, and he could not see anything in an instant. Why can't I see? He roared. With his roar, he fell to the ground with a plop. His eyes were wide open, as if he wanted to see something. The black-robed old man's face changed, and his figure quickly came in front of Wang Zheng. Puff. At this time, Wang Zheng spit out a mouthful of black blood and went towards the other party. The black-robed old man's expression changed, and he waved his sleeves to block the black blood. After Wang Zheng spit out a mouthful of black blood, his whole body was motionless. Wow. For a moment, everyone showed a look of horror. Wang Zheng just swallowed the detoxification pill given by the black-robed old man, but he was still poisoned and died in the blink of an eye. No one in the whole courtyard dared to move. They were afraid that they would die like Wang Zheng if they moved. The scene became extremely weird. Just relying on your inferior detoxification pill. You want to detoxify me? What a fantasy. A deep voice sounded throughout the courtyard. Who? Come out to me. I will tear you apart. King Liu stood up with angry eyes. He looked around, but he found nothing. Who are you? I'm the immortal of 10,000 Poison Island. I hope to compete with you. At this time, the old man in black robe said sternly. How dare you fight me? You can survive for 100 breaths before talking to me. By the way, King Liu forgot to tell you that there should be no survivors in your backyard now. After the voice finished speaking, he said another sentence. Chapter 939. I'll give you a chance to poison me. Hearing this, King Liu's face changed drastically. I don't think I have offended you. Why are you so cruel? King Liu said after hearing this. You dare to send people to attack my master. This is the price you pay for your actions. King Liu's mansion must be wiped out. I have made you panic for so long. It's time to close a net. There was a coldness in his voice. For a moment, a layer of chill filled the courtyard. Is this person also Xiaolang Xiao's man? Song Lunhu, who was beside Yan Shizhen, asked with horror. This method of using poison was too terrifying. It made him feel chilled. He is also someone around Xiaolong Xiao. Don't worry, his poison, we are fine. Yan Shizhen said. It seems that we didn't take the antidote before we came. Song Lanhu said involuntarily. No need, this person has mastered the use of poison. Whoever he wants to be poisoned, will be poisoned. It doesn't involve us. Yan Shizhen said. Brother Yan, are we here to play soy sauce this time? Song Lanhu asked involuntarily. King Liu, as the prince of the great Zhao, it won't be that simple. Didn't you say that there are masters around him? That person hasn't shown up yet? Yan Shizhen said. Hearing Yan Shizhen's words, Song Lanhu nodded. He didn't want to come here just to make a cameo appearance. Hearing the words of the five poison boy, King Liu's face became ferocious. Despicable, you dare to do this, I will tear you to pieces. If I catch you, kill that man first. King Liu ordered the remaining 4 generals. The 4 people's expressions changed. But King Liu ordered that they must take action, and the ki in their bodies burst out, shielding all their pores. This protects themselves from poisoning. Then the 4 looked at each other and took action at the same time. The 4 of them took action together, not believing that the other party could take action against the 4 of them at the same time. Stupid. Just as the 4 of them moved, a cold voice rang in their ears. When the 4 of them heard the cold voice, suddenly, they felt that the ki in their bodies seemed to disappear. When this ki disappeared, puff, the 4 people spurted out black blood at the same time. No. The 4 people roared and looked at the immortal of 10,000 poisons. They wanted the immortal of 10,000 poisons to help them. Only the immortal of 10,000 poisons could help them. The immortal of 10,000 poisons was not focused on them at the moment. A poison appeared in his body. This poison appeared in his body like a mad dragon. It began to corrode his blood. It rushed to his danshan. Once it reached his danshan, he would die of poison like everyone else. The immortal of 10,000 poisons moved quickly. He poured pills from the bottle and swallowed them. These pills entered the body and produced a defense, alleviating the crazy attack of the poison. Then the immortal of 10,000 poisons began to circulate the true energy in his body. He wanted to suppress and expel the poison from the body. Seeing the state of the immortal of 10,000 poisons, the 4 people also rushed towards the immortal of 10,000 poisons, trying to snatch the pill bottle in the immortal of 10,000 poisons' hands. Puff. At this time, a blood mist appeared around the immortal of 10,000 poisons. These blood mists appeared with a strong fishy smell. Ah. The 4 people who were close to the immortal of 10,000 poisons were sprayed with blood mist and screamed. Their faces were stained with blood. The pain made the 4 people fall to the ground and roll around. Their hands began to scratch their bodies. Countless blood marks appeared on their bodies, which looked extremely miserable. Seeing this situation, everyone was trembling with fear. King Liu, you dare to attack my master, this is the price. Cui Wu who looked at King Liu and said coldly, bang. At this time, King Liu suddenly attacked. He slapped out 4 palms quickly, and 4 terrifying energy burst out. The 4 people who rolled on the ground were instantly slapped to death. At this time, the immortal of 10,000 poison suddenly rose up, and a red mist appeared in his hand, and went towards Cui Wu. He wanted to force out the person who used poison. This is poison. Only the person who used poison dared to resist. Seeing this, Song Lanhu's expression changed, and he wanted to take action. The fog is poisonous, not ordinary, you don't have to take action. They are forcing out the 5 poison boys. As long as the 5 poison boys take action, they can limit his poison. You will have a chance to take action then. Yan Shizhen said. The red fog appeared. The people around Cui Wu changed their expressions. But they didn't dare to move. Only Liu Liking quickly came to Cui Wu to help Cui Wu resist the poisonous blood fog. At this moment, suddenly, the red poisonous fog was absorbed by a stream of air. It gathered towards one place. A figure appeared, grabbed with his palm, and the poisonous fog that was sucked in was instantly absorbed by his palm. Everyone looked at the person who appeared. It was a short person, like a child. Who are you? Looking at the appearance of the 5 poison boys, King Liu asked sternly. The immortal of 10,000 poisons looked at the 5 poison boy with a serious look. The other party directly absorbed the poison mist he had just thrown out. This was a little unexpected for him. I'm the 5 poison boy under the seat of Chen, the young dragon leader of the Qinglang society. Today I come to take your head, King Liu. The 5 poison boy said coldly. Under the seat of Chen, the young dragon leader of the Qinglang society. Hearing the introduction of the 5 poison boy, King Liu's expression froze, and then he thought of something. The incident in King Liu's mansion happened after his daughter, Princess Daniyang, sent Xiao Royan of the Resentment sect to attack Chen. Then my daughter, Princess Daniyang, you. King Liu looked at the 5 poison boy and said, of course, he must die in the hands of our Qinglang society people, not only your daughter, but also your son. The 5 poison boy said coldly. Yinggai, kill him for me. At this time, King Liu shouted in a low voice. When his voice fell, a figure appeared in the dark and went towards the 5 poison boy with a sword. Song Lunhu, who had been paying attention to the situation here, made a move in an instant. He turned around and appeared in front of the 5 poison boys and stretched out his palm. A pair of gloves radiating cold light appeared. They collided with the long sword, making a sound of metal collision. The long sword was repelled and the two fell to the ground. The judge of life and death. Song Lunhu, you dare to appear in my Huayuan area. King Liu looked at Song Lunhu with cold eyes. King Liu, today is your death day. How can I not come? And I'm one of the helmsmen of the Qinglang society. Song Lunhu said. Song Lunhu's words instantly caused an uproar. They didn't expect that Song Lunhu was actually a helmsman of the Qinglang society. Okay, this time I will send you all off. King Liu roared. The figure fell down, staring at Song Lunhu, and the sword energy on his body burst out. But when he burst out the sword energy, a drop of blood suddenly appeared in his nostrils, and his expression changed. He also touched his nostrils, and black blood appeared, and the blood from his nostrils seemed to flow out, as if he was not afraid of death, and he could not stop it at all. Kill him. The 5 poison boy said to Song Lunhu in front of him. Song Lunhu was stunned, and his figure shot out instantly. The gloves emitting cold light instantly landed on the opponent's head. Bang! Ying Yi's head exploded instantly, and turned into a ball of blood mist. At this time, the 5 poison boy went towards the 10,000 poison immortal. I'll give you a chance. Use all the poisons you can use. Poison me to death and you live. The 5 poison boy looked at the 10,000 poison immortal and said coldly. Chapter 940, 5 poisonous creatures, captured, a backup plan appears. Looking at the arrogant face of the 5 poison boy, the face of the 10,000 poison immortal became ferocious. He was called the 10,000 poison immortal, and he had mastered the use of poison. Now the 5 poison boy was so rampant, and shouting in front of him. How could he not be angry? The 10,000 poison immortal jumped and appeared not far from the 5 poison boy. He turned his palm, and a strange air appeared in his palm. It instantly broke away from his palm, and went towards the 5 poison boy. The 5 poison boy stood there without moving, allowing the poison to enter his body. He was a drop of blood that obtained the evil poison body. Any poison that entered his body would become his nourishment. Increase his cultivation. Of course, he had also found a lot of poisons recently and studied them. For the time being, he had not found a poison that could kill him. That's why he was so presumptuous to let the 10,000 poison immortal attack him. After the poison gas entered the body, it quickly went to the heart of the 5 poison boy. However, the blood in the 5 poison boy's body began to change, swallowing the poison gas instantly, and then turned it into nutrients, gathering towards his dantian. Sensing the disappearance of his own poison gas, the face of the 10,000 poisons immortal Weng changed. Various poisons continued to appear in his palms. All went to the 5 poison boy, but there was no effect. Your body, the body of 10,000 poisons. The 10,000 poisons immortal Weng looked at the 5 poison boy and said, no. The 5 poison boy shook his head. Then he looked at the other party and said, is this the only poison in your body? You really disappoint me. The 5 poison boy was still thinking about using the other party's poison to improve his strength. But he didn't expect that this person called the 10,000 poisons immortal Weng had only this little poison. You. The 10,000 poisons immortal Weng's eyes were ferocious. A colorful spider crawled out of his hand. Seeing the spider, the 5 poison boy's eyes condensed, and there was a desire in his blood, a desire to devour the colorful spider. In the eyes of the 5 poison boy, a colorful centipede, a colorful butterfly, a colorful toad, and a black scorpion crawled out of Wan Du Zion Weng's hand again. As soon as these 5 poisonous creatures appeared, Wan Du Zion Weng's face showed a solemn look. He uttered a low hum. The 5 poisonous creatures instantly turned into 5 rays of light and flew towards the 5 poison boy. They were extremely fast and landed on the 5 poison boy in the blink of an eye. The moment they landed on the 5 poison boy, they seemed to be invisible. They instantly entered the 5 poison boy's clothes. These are the 5 immortal insects that I have raised for a long time. I want to see if you can bear it or not. Wan Du Zion Weng's face showed a ferocious look. At this moment, the 5 poisonous insects that entered the 5 poison boy's clothes instantly became smaller and attached to the 5 poison boy's blood vessels. They wanted to absorb the blood in the 5 poison boy's body. The 5 poison boy controlled the blood in his body and poured it into the 5 poisonous insects. When the blood entered their bodies, the 5 poisonous insects gave out waves of crazy joy. These 5 poisonous insects are not simple. The eyes of the 5 poison boys condensed slightly. A spiritual force surged out and communicated with them, and it attracted the blood in the body to form runes. These runes entered the bodies of the 5 poisonous insects and appeared on them. The runes appeared. A sense of closeness appeared in the hearts of the 5 poison boys. It's done. The 5 poison boys were delighted. They began to control the 5 poisonous insects. After receiving the order, the 5 poisonous insects began to respond. At this time, the face of the 10,000 poisons immortal on the platform changed. He felt that his connection with the 5 poisonous insects was cut off. An anxious look appeared on his face. Looking at the 5 poison boys standing, his figure suddenly flew into the air and slapped the 5 poison boys. If you can't poison the other party, then kill the other party. The 5 poison boys have a weaker aura. He can kill the other party with one palm. If he kills the other party, he can take back the 5 poisonous insects. Ding. At this time, a piano sound suddenly appeared. As the sound of the piano appeared, a silver light suddenly appeared. Swish. The silver light pierced through the opponent's palm. Ah. The 10,000 poison immortal let out a scream. He retreated rapidly. But just as he retreated, suddenly, 5 rays of light shot out from the 5 poison boy and instantly entered the body of the 10,000 poison immortal. At this time, Wang Zumi, who was holding the heavenly demon harp, landed in the courtyard. It was she who had just made a move and pierced the palm of the 10,000 poison immortal with the strings of the harp. How is this possible? The 10,000 poison immortal looked at the 5 poison boy and growled. But when he growled, his body turned deep red. He couldn't speak for a while. He wanted to force out the 5 poisonous insects that entered his body. But at this moment, the deep red disappeared. As the deep red disappeared, his body's blood, the blood in his body, was instantly sucked dry by the 5 poisonous insects. Plop. His body fell to the ground. There was no breath. And then 5 poisonous insects appeared on his body. Those are the 5 poisonous insects on the body of the 10,000 poison immortal. Seeing this scene, the people watching the battle were shocked. The 5 poison boy waved his hand and grabbed them. The 5 poisonous insects flew back to the 5 poison boy's hands and then entered his sleeves and disappeared. King Liu, the poison skills of the person you invited are a bit poor, unbearable. But I have to thank him for giving me these 5 good treasures. The 5 poison boy looked at King Liu and said, 5 poison boy, your poison is strong, but do you think you can take me down with such poison skills? What a wishful thinking. King Liu shouted. As he shouted, a figure walked out of the dark. The person who came was an old man in a black robe. A strange airflow appeared around the old man, and these airflows kept flowing, as if repelling foreign objects. His face was cold and fierce, revealing a murderous look. Not only this old man appeared. On the other side, a burly middle-aged man with bronze skin appeared. With one step, a terrifying airwave exploded on him. 5 poison boy, your poison is strong, but do you think that I have been preparing for such a long time without any preparation? They are not ordinary in themselves, and with the poison-proof beads I found for them, they can ensure that they will not be affected by the poison for a period of time. You underestimate me too much. If you underestimate me, I will take your heads today and send them to Chen. King Liu looked at the 5 poisoned boys and said coldly, "Kill." When King Liu spoke, he kicked the ground with his feet and suddenly grabbed the 5 poisoned boys with the palm. "If you don't show up, I can't find you. If you show up, you will die." He raised his palm and grabbed the 5 poisoned boys. The key in his hand flowed, emitting a terrifying and sharp breath. Just when he moved, suddenly, a terrifying sword energy appeared. As soon as the sword energy appeared, it directly locked King Liu. King Liu's expression changed, his body paused, and his eyes looked in one place. Yan Shizhen, holding a long sword, walked out of the dark. "Stop him, I will kill the 5 poison boys," King Liu said to the old man in black robe. The old man wanted to move, but a figure appeared on the top of the house. He was burly, looking at the old man in black robe, with a violent and sharp aura on his body. A small arrow composed of ki appeared on his arm. The small arrow was locked on the old man in black robe. The person who appeared was Yuan Shizengsen. Chapter 941. King Liu's trump card, the soldiers of war, the blood demon puppet. At this moment, in the crowd in the courtyard, 2 figures standing next to each other were communicating. "Brother Liu, how did King Liu offend the Qinglang society? What should we do now?" One of them said. "What should we do? If we do nothing, the Qinglang society will come fully prepared this time. I think King Liu is doomed." The man called Brother Liu replied. "But our mission is to cooperate with King Liu. If King Liu is killed, our mission will fail. We will not be able to report to the general at that time." The person who spoke earlier said, "Failure is better than losing your life, right? Didn't you see that the 10,000 poison immortal was poisoned to death by the 5 poison boy? If we go up, we will probably be poisoned to death. It's better for me to do nothing and see if I can leave safely." The man called Brother Liu communicated. "Brother Liu, the general attaches so much importance to the cooperation with King Liu. Do you think King Liu has a backup plan? This King Liu became famous together with the general, and he must be a very important person to be crowned king. Moreover, he has been operating the Huayuan area for so many years, so he must have a trump card." Seeing this, the person who spoke earlier spoke up. "It's possible, but we can't gamble. If he has the upper hand, we will take action and get some favors. If we can't have the upper hand, then his death has nothing to do with us. I can't do anything about it," Brother Liu said in a deep voice. Hearing what Brother Liu said, the person who spoke earlier had bright eyes. "This is indeed a good idea." His eyes returned to the platform again. At this moment, Yan Shizhen was stepping towards King Liu. "Qinglang Club Yan Shizhen." Yan Shizhen looked at King Liu and spoke. "Qinglang Hu Sword Master, I didn't expect that you, Qinglang Hu, really think highly of me, King Liu, and sent so many masters. But since you think highly of me, then I will show you my real trump card," King Liu said coldly. Hearing King Liu's words, Yan Shizhen's eyes condensed. From King Liu's words, we can know that he still has a trump card. "I, King Liu, can become a vassal of the great Zhao dynasty. How can I become a vassal without any foundation?" King Liu's eyes were cold, and his tone was overbearing. Boom. A burst of scarlet true energy burst out from him, and he slapped his palm on the ground. Instantly, cracks appeared under his feet. As the cracks appeared, the scarlet true energy burst out. Red lines appeared on the ground. Lines appeared. The ground under his feet began to crack. A scarlet palm dug the ground and crawled out from the ground. The body was tall, exuding a terrifying murderous aura and blood, with a ferocious look, and no trace of humanity could be seen. This is the blood demon, the war weapon refined by King Liu. It is said that it was taken back by Emperor Zhao. I didn't expect it to be in King Liu's hands. Some people seem to have thought of something and spoke. They immediately recognized the figure that crawled out of the ground. If that's the case, then it's not just one. King Liu refined 9 back then, and 3 were destroyed in the war, which means he still has 6. Someone said, "Crack." When everyone was shocked, a scarlet hand stretched out from the ground again and quickly opened the ground. It crawled out from under the ground with evil spirits and bloody breath. Crack. Other places also appeared one after another. Soon, 6 huge figures all crawled out from the ground. When these 6 figures all crawled out, King Liu's eyes became ferocious. Yan Shizhen, their bodies especially refined. They can be said to be humanoid weapons, comparable to weapon level weapons. I really want to see if your sword can split them. Kill. King Liu roared. Boom. Just when King Liu's order was completed, one of the figures instantly shot towards Yan Shizhen. He raised his palm and slapped it, with evil spirit and blood in his palm. Yan Shizhen slashed out with a long sword in his palm. But when the sword slashed out, the other 5 figures had already appeared around him. Boom. The bloody evil spirits of the 5 blood demon puppets swarmed out, forming a wave of evil spirits, pressing heavily on Yan Shizhen. Yan Shizhen paused slightly. The long sword slashed out, and collided with the opponent's palm. Clang. There was a crisp sound of metal collision. A huge force came from Yan Shizhen's wrist, and his body was shaken back. The opponent's palm was really like a weapon. Yan Shizhen's eyes showed surprise. Roar. At this time, 6 figures suddenly opened their mouths and let out a huge roar. The roar carried a terrifying sound wave force, and went towards Yan Shizhen. Along with this sound wave force, Yan Shizhen's body suddenly felt heavy. Yan Shizhen, your strength is good, but under my 6 demon puppets, you can only die. King Liu's eyes were ferocious. Boom. When he finished speaking, the 6 figures suddenly stretched out their palms, which were covered with scarlet scales, and emitted a cold light. The 6 palms slapped out at the same time. It was like suppressing mountains. The collision between the air and the palms made a bang. Yan Shizhen's eyes turned scarlet, and he was ready to enter a crazy state. Ding. At this time, a piano sound appeared. As the piano sound appeared, the terrifying sound wave power swept towards the 6 figures. Along with this terrifying sound wave power, 6 silver lights appeared and shot out. These 6 lights penetrated the blood evil spirit and pierced through the palms of the 6 blood demon puppets. These 6 lights are 6 strings, the strings of the heavenly demon harp. The one who made the move was Wang Zumei. The Cheyenne Makin in her hand is not ordinary, the strings are extremely sharp. Even if the opponent's body is as tough as a weapon, it can still be pierced. Roar. The 6 puppets roared. The palms were full of murderous energy, making the scales on the palms even more ferocious. They wanted to tear off the silver light that pierced their palms. Seeing this, the bronze giant who appeared earlier moved. Your opponent is me. Black magic fist. The giant shouted, and his body shot violently, punching Wang Zumei. When he made the move, the divine power on his body burst out. A terrifying shadow appeared behind him, and there was nothing else in the shadow except darkness. Darkness emerged, and a fear enveloped Wang Zumei. Your opponent is me. Boom. A figure appeared in front of the giant. He raised his palm and punched out. When his fist punched out, 4 ferocious beasts appeared behind him, roaring and rushing onto his fist. They collided with the attacking fist. 8 Evil's true body skill. The one who came out was Ling Luoshi. Of course, Ling Luoshi could only condense 4 figures of fierce beasts now. The 2 forces collided fiercely, and a bang. A shocking sound was heard. The violent energy swept around like a wave. All the dust around was shaken out, and some warriors, their blood boiling, spurted out a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, their figures kept retreating. Chapter 942. In order to leave through the heavenly gate, Yan Shizhen transforms into a sword. Ling Luoshi is here too. He's a fierce man. With so many people from the Qinglang society here, I'm afraid there are still some in the dark. King Liu has no chance. Seeing the figure appear, many people were horrified. They also knew that King Liu had no chance. At this time, Yan Shizhen's figure had already escaped from the encirclement of the 6 puppets. Wang Zumei retracted the strings of her zither and landed in front of the 6 figures. Her hands kept plucking the strings, and the sound of the zither kept coming out, heading towards the 6 puppets. The physical strength of these puppets was very strong. Wang Zumei's Cheyenne Makin's strings were sharp, and she was fully capable of tearing the 6 puppets apart. But Wang Zumei had taken a fancy to these 6 figures. She wanted to subdue them and use them for her own purposes. So she used sound waves to attack the other party and change the only remaining obedient thinking in the other party's brain. She wanted to replace King Liu. Once she replaced King Liu, she would be able to control these 6 puppets and make them her guards. Although her strings can penetrate the opponent's body, think about it, her Shinmakin is a top-grade spiritual weapon. Not everyone can have it. The powerful sound wave power surged into the minds of the 6 people. For a while, the 6 puppets could only hold their heads and roar, and their bodies could not move. Seeing this situation, King Liu looked horrified, and his eyes were fixed on the Shinmakin in Wang Zumu's hand. Is your kin a spiritual weapon level? King Liu said. I can tell you that it is. At this time, Yan Shizhen came to King Liu. Looking at Yan Shizhen who came, King Liu's eyes condensed, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. I didn't expect that my trump card was perfectly restrained by you. It seems that I have to do it myself. The aura of King Liu who spoke changed. There are not many who can be crowned kings in the Great Zhao, not to mention their own strength. Boom. A violent true ki appeared on his body, and the true ki swept all around, forming a terrifying wave. At this moment, the aura of King Liu also changed. An invisible domineering aura burst out from him. The true energy and domineering aura pressed towards Yan Shizhen at the same time. Today, this king will go on a killing spree. King Liu's powerful voice was filled with indifference. He stepped on the ground. The whole courtyard began to shake violently. The building behind him collapsed with a bang and the violent vibration. The aura of King Liu is so strong. Seeing the aura bursting out from King Liu, many people were horrified. This king is practicing the secret skill of pushing the devil. Divine power, push the devil to show the god. King Liu shouted in a low voice. Boom. The true energy behind him began to change, forming a black demonic energy. The demonic energy was like an ocean, forming a terrifying demonic shadow. Although the demonic shadow was only a shadow, the shape of the demonic shadow could be vaguely seen. 3 heads and 6 arms, emitting a dark, domineering, and ancient aura. This is a demon god. The terrifying divine power and pressure went towards Yan Shizhen. Yan Shizhen's eyes condensed. The skill displayed by the other party was not ordinary. The crazy body in his body began to work. Circles of dark demonic energy burst out from Yan Shizhen's pores, forming a terrifying demonic shadow. In this demonic shadow, a dark sword shadow emerged. The sword shadow appeared, and the sword energy spread in all directions with a terrifying black glow. Suppressed and shattered the demonic energy. Demon sword? Seeing Yan Shizhen's divine power, King Liu's eyes moved. Then one move will determine the outcome. Push the demon secret fist. King Liu shouted in a low voice. A terrifying demonic shadow appeared in the divine power behind him, and all of them poured into his body. For a moment, King Liu's figure swelled. The shadow of Xianmen vaguely appeared in the sky. The aura on King Liu has surpassed the concentration of the sea. I have a sword, please take it. When Yan Shizhen spoke, his figure merged with the sword shadow, and the long sword in his hand was raised, and his spirit and energy were all gathered on the long sword in his hand in the void. Xianmen appeared, and the power of the 2 people has surpassed the concentration of the sea. The terrifying thunder power that emerged above the Xianmen was extremely terrifying. At this time, the Liu King, who had previously punched Yan Shizhen, suddenly turned around, and his body instantly flew into the air, punching the Xianmen. The terrifying power collided with the Xianmen. The thunder on the Xianmen was directly shattered by this punch. When the Xianmen thunder was shattered, the Liu King went towards the Xianmen. Seeing this scene, the expressions of the people watching the battle changed. The Liu King, who was so fierce just now, actually punched to break the thunder on the Xianmen. This is to use the Xianmen to leave. It was completely unexpected. No one thought of this. But some people saw this scene, and felt that this seemed to be the only chance to break the situation. Stay here. There are so many masters in the Kinglan Club, and there is no chance to escape, only death. Then it is better to step directly into the Xianmen and leave. The Xianmen is his chance of survival. Kinglan Club, I will remember you. I will avenge you for today's vengeance. The deep voice of King Liu sounded in everyone's ears. Yan Shizhen, whose figure and sword shadow were gathered at this moment, saw this situation and his face condensed. You want to leave? How can it be possible? You must die today. With my body, the sword body is one. Yan Shizhen shouted in a low voice. His figure rushed out, and the long sword in his hand, as well as the sword shadow in the divine power, instantly gathered together, turning into a black sword light, and went towards King Liu. King Liu, who stepped into the heavenly gate, saw Yan Shizhen, who turned into a sword light, and his expression changed. He hurriedly raised his hand and punched out. As long as he blocked Yan Shizhen for a while, he could completely enter the heavenly gate. Boom. The true energy burst out of the fist, collided with the sword light. The hasty burst of power could not stop Yan Shizhen's sword at all. Kai. The sword light shattered the true energy. It rushed into King Liu's body. But at this moment, King Liu's body had already entered the heavenly gate. Yan Shizhen, who had transformed into a sword, penetrated King Liu's body and entered the heavenly gate directly. After entering the heavenly gate, Yan Shizhen's figure appeared. Boom. Yan Shizhen slapped out with his palm. King Liu's body was directly knocked out of the heavenly gate by his palm power. Boom. The heavenly gate closed. King Liu's body fell from the sky and hit the ground. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. He looked at the disappearing heavenly gate. His expression was dim and unwilling. He didn't expect that Yan Shizhen would be like this, risking his own way to the heavenly gate to kill him. Just one step, King Liu muttered in his mouth. Swish. At this moment, a sword light burst out from his chest. Bang. Then the whole person turned into a ball of blood mist. Just like that, King Liu was killed. In fact, if he had fully burst out his fighting power to fight Yan Shizhen, maybe there would be a glimmer of hope. Who made him burst out his power to break the heavenly gate? This made it impossible for him to recover his strength immediately, thus giving Yan Shizhen the opportunity to kill him with one sword. Of course, he also successfully sent Yan Shizhen away. Chapter 943 Wuming, Shangguan Jinhong, Shadow Demon in a Pill. Jiangnan. Suching. This Liu King is a bit cowardly, and he almost escaped. But Yan Shizhen stepped on the heavenly gate. Su Chen frowned slightly. Yan Shizhen still has some gaps with Ren Kaiangxing and the others. At this time, stepping on the heavenly gate is not the most advantageous. He was a little worried about Yan Shizhen's safety. My lord, there is actually no need to worry. Yan Shizhen's swordsmanship is very strong. Even those who are a little stronger than him will not fight him to the death. Yuan Suan said. This is the only way now. What is the action of the demon sect's heavenly concubine? Li Zunhuan and the others are about to arrive in Suching. Su Chen asked. They haven't contacted us yet, but according to Li Langshao and the others' schedule, if the heavenly concubine wants to move, she should find us. Yuan Suan said. Really? But I'm very curious about the layout in Jinling City. What is going on? What does Mr. Zhuge think about this matter? Su Chen asked. There are a lot of layouts this time, and they should have been planned in advance. So Su Chen needs to know who is plotting against them. Qinglang Society. This time, the Pacification Department and the Ministry of Personnel are involved. Mr. Zhuge has already notified Mireng Fu and others to investigate, and let Bai Chaofei not ask about this matter directly. Yuan Suan said. The great Zhao Jiang, who is now turbulent, Xian'ai Pavilion, and Qinglang Society do not need to have too many intersections for the time being. Just look at what Liu Boyan, the palace master of Evil God Palace, wants to do this time when the four major evil sects gather together. Su Chen said in a deep voice. At this moment, outside the mansion, a figure appeared. The figure jumped directly into the manor. However, after she entered the manor, she was suddenly locked by her breath, and her figure and eyes condensed slightly. The heavenly concubine of the demon sect. I come to pay homage to Sushao Langshao. The person introduced herself. It was the heavenly concubine that Su Chen and others talked about. Wait. A low voice sounded in the ears of the heavenly concubine. The heavenly concubine's eyes condensed, but she could only stand where she was. In the hall. My lord, I will go and bring Xian Fei here first. Yuan Suan received the message and left the hall immediately. After a while, Yuan Suan and Xian Fei appeared in the hall. Your Excellency Xian Fei, you should leave Suching at this time. Su Chen looked at Xian Fei and said. Young Dragon Chief Su, this time I want to borrow your power to investigate the people around me. Xian Fei said. Investigate the people around you? Su Chen frowned slightly, but then understood the other party's intention. Is there no suspect? Su Chen said. No one has been found yet, and it is estimated that there may be more than one person, so I want to ask young Dragon Chief Su for help. Cheyenne Fei replied. I don't know how I can help Cheyenne Fei, and what price Cheyenne Fei is willing to pay, Su Chen said. I can copy a copy of the secret map of the secret dragon cave I got from the Mirren family to young Dragon Chief Su. Cheyenne Fei said. The secret map of the secret dragon cave is not very meaningful to me, because I also have a map of the secret dragon cave here. Su Chen looked at Cheyenne Fei and said. Cheyenne Fei is not only the Cheyenne Fei of the demon sect, but also the leader of the heavenly demon sect. She must have some unusual treasures. Hearing Su Chen's words, Cheyenne Fei's expression froze. She didn't expect that Su Chen also had the secret map of the secret dragon cave. However, the other party had the secret map of the secret dragon cave. Then the secret map of the secret dragon cave on her body was indeed of no value to Su Chen. I have 3 top level exercises that I can give to Su Xiaolang Xiao. Here is the deposit. Cheyenne Fei took out a secret book from her bosom and handed it to Su Chen. The blood crying demon divine art. Su Chen looked at the secret book that Cheyenne Fei handed to him, which was the blood crying demon divine art that Mirren Cheyenne had practiced before. In addition to what you said, I also want the heavenly blood prison demon array map, Su Chen said. Hearing this, Cheyenne Fei frowned slightly. Su Xiaolan Xiao, this is a lion's mouth. Cheyenne Fei said. Reasonable price. Su Chen said calmly. Okay, after the matter is done, I will give the other 2 skills in the formation diagram of the heavenly blood prison demon formation to Su Xiaolan Xiao. Cheyenne Fei pondered for a moment and said. I wonder how Cheyenne Fei needs me to cooperate? Su Chen said. I hope Su Xiaolan Xiao can find a chance to leave the city, and then I will take action against Su Xiaolan Xiao. At that time, I will gather them and see what some people choose. Cheyenne Fei said. Okay. Su Chen nodded. Then I won't stay here. After saying that, Cheyenne Fei turned and left. My lord, is this a trick? I suggest that I disguise myself as the young master. Yuan Suan said after Cheyenne Fei left. I need to think about this matter carefully. Su Chen opened the book of the Weeping Blood Demon Divine Art on the table. Obtain the Weeping Blood Demon Divine Art and be rewarded with 1 orange lottery card. Only 1 orange lottery card? Su Chen was slightly disappointed. Have all the books and treasures in the Liu King's mansion been transferred? Su Chen stood up and said. He was ready to continue collecting orange lottery cards. Now he has 5 orange lottery cards, including the orange lottery card he just got. Click to draw. Get the master of the Jiladong in Miao Jiang. The power of the great joyful female bodhisattva, the exclusive character 5 poison boy, and a 30-year internal energy pill. Get the power of the character Wu Ming, old man, the exclusive character Shangwen Jinhong. Get a physical body double enhancement card. Get the shadow magic in a pill, and the exclusive character black and white Zuan Jian. Looking at this lottery, Su Chen's eyes condensed slightly. The great joyful female bodhisattva is the #1 female master in the sentimental swordsman ruthless sword. Her physical body is extremely strong. She is the godmother of the 5 poison boy. If her power is passed on to the 5 poison boy, the 5 poison boy's strength will definitely be able to break through to the sea of concentration. Wu Ming, old man, a character in the legend of Lu Xiaofeng, Phoenix dances in the 9 heavens. He can be said to be the #1 master in Gulong's novels, and one of the 10 great heroes in Gulong's novels. His strength is unfathomable. He practiced various martial arts, and could quickly master whatever he learned. He was definitely a person with amazing martial arts talent. He did not expect Shangwen Jinhong to be able to obtain the skills of such a strong man. He believed that after Shangwen Jinhong obtained it, his strength would definitely rise to the sky and reach the level of shattering. Shadow Demon in a pill. The inner pill of the Shadow Demon above the Shaman, after being integrated into the body and completely refined, can gradually transform the body into a shadow. Some characteristics of the Shadow Demon clan can also appear. See this? Su Chen's eyes moved slightly. He did not expect to get such a thing. As for the physical body strengthening card and the 30-year internal energy pill, the physical body strengthening card, Su Chen used it himself. His physical body was already terrifying, and it was strengthened by 1 time. Is this asking him to tear the sky with 1 hand? Others may blast the Shineman with one punch, but at that time he will resist the thunder of the Shineman with his body, tear the Shineman with his hands, and step on the Shineman to leave. It will definitely shock everyone. Chen decided to give the 30-year internal energy pill to Cui Woohoo. Cui Woohoo is not a summoned character, and he does not have a specific treasure, but he can give the internal energy pill to the other party. Let Cui Woohoo increase his strength. The 5 poison boys have all improved, and he also needs to improve. After all, Cui Woohoo's loyalty to him is beyond doubt. And he is an absolutely bug character, and he must improve his cultivation. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 944. Kyo Feng contacts the transformation realm, the 3 realms of the realm, and the realm system above the heavenly gate. Jinling City, inside the inn, Li Han Qiu appeared in Kyo Feng's room. Liu Boyuan sent an invitation, asking us to go to his manor tonight. What do you think about this? Li Han Qiu said. Now Li Zunhuan of the Qinglang Society has been transferred out of Jinling City. Li Han Qiu felt that things were unusual. Liu Boyuan must have made preparations, and they might be in danger at that time. Are you worried? You don't need to worry. No one can hurt you in front of me. Kyo Feng said. His tone was flat, but his eyes revealed a sense of looking down on the world. I know your strength is strong, but if you concentrate your mind in the sea here, the heaven gate will appear. If the heaven gate appears, either break the heaven gate and stay, or step on the heaven gate and leave. My injuries have not recovered yet, and it is not worth going to the heaven gate now. Li Han Qiu said. My strength has reached the level of shattering, and above the shattering, you said the transformation domain, and now I'm feeling it. Kyo Feng said. What? Hearing Kyo Feng's words, Li Han Qiu was stunned. She didn't expect Kyo Feng to have already started to transform into a domain. Although she knew Kyo Feng was strong, she didn't expect Kyo Feng to have reached this point. You actually started to transform into a domain, much faster than I thought. Transforming into a domain is a stage in the 3 realms of the domain. Li Han Qiu said at this time. The 3 realms of the domain? Kyo Feng was stunned when he heard this. Li Han Qiu mentioned the transformation of the domain before, but he didn't talk about the specific realm. So he was a little surprised to hear about the 3 realms of the domain. Above the heavens and humans, there is the realm of the domain. There are 3 realms in the domain, the transformation realm, the virtual realm, and the true realm. Transforming into a domain means that the divine power condenses into a domain, and the virtual realm means that the virtual scene condenses in the domain. After the virtual scene, it is the real transformation, which is to enter the true realm. These 3 realms are divided into 4 stages: initial entry, minor success, major success, and peak. Above the 3 realms of the domain are the 6 levels of the true self, and the 9 levels of the supreme. After the supreme, it is the emperor realm, and after the emperor realm, it is transcendence. Above the Shineman, no matter whether it is the human race or other races, no one has entered this realm for the time being. Li Han Qiu narrated. What was your original strength? Kyo Feng asked. My previous strength was in the realm of virtuality, but I was still a long way from entering the realm of trueness. My aptitude is much worse than yours. If you can enter the heaven gate and the sect, you will definitely be valued. Maybe you can step into the ranks of seed disciples in one step, and then you can compete for the quota of true disciples. If you can become a seed disciple, my revenge can be avenged. Li Han Qiu said. The gate of life and death. The strength of your enemy. Kyo Feng had been in contact with Li Han Qiu for a while, and knew that Li Han Qiu came from the gate of life and death above the heaven gate. He is about to enter the realm of trueness, but the realm of trueness is not so easy to enter. I estimate that, before I return to the heaven gate, he should not enter the realm of trueness. After today, you are the master of the dead man's tomb, and I'm the deputy master. Li Han Qiu said. Kyo Feng's aptitude is too amazing, and she can't reach it at all. She has to seize the opportunity now. With Kyo Feng as the leader, it is her chance. You must be loyal to me. Qiao Feng looked at Li Han Qiu and said, yes. Li Han Qiu said without hesitation. Okay. Qiao Feng nodded. He was not familiar with the gate of life and death above Xianmen, so he still needed the help of Li Han Qiu. During this period of time, he got along with Li Han Qiu. Qiao Feng still recognized Li Han Qiu's character. But for the time being, you are still the master of the dead man's tomb. Qiao Feng said. He didn't know much about the affairs of the evil sect, so he let Li Han Qiu handle it. Yes. Li Han Qiu said hurriedly. Then let's go to Liu Boyan. Li Han Qiu said afterwards. Qiao Feng was willing to go there, and his strength was there, so her previous worries were gone. Black market in the pavilion. Bei Zuanming stood in front of the old man Qianqin. Master, this matter is weird. If we get involved, I'm afraid it will be inappropriate. Bei Zuanming said in a deep voice. Didn't Li Zunhuan of the Green Dragon Society leave Jinling City? If he's not in Jinling, what should we worry about? Said the old man Qianqin. It's because Li Zunhuan left that I feel something is wrong. Bei Zuanming said in a deep voice. Who is in charge of the black market in the Green Dragon Society now? Said the old man Qianqin. The 7 Dragon leader Wei Zhuang. Said Bei Zuanming. How strong is he? He just stepped into the sea to concentrate his mind. Bei Zuanming said, after thinking for a moment. He just stepped into the sea to concentrate his mind, and his strength is a bit weak. If he goes to trouble Liu Boyan, he will be courting death. Said the old man Qianqin. But I'm afraid, this is the smoke released by the Green Dragon Society. There are other masters, secretly in Jiangnan. Said Bei Zuanming. I have also read some information about the Qinglang Society these 2 days. Among the masters of the Qinglang Society, only some are very strong, and the rest are at most stronger than those in the same realm. What's more, I went to help Liu Boyan this time, to help him deal with the Yama Palace and the Dead Man's Tomb. I will not participate in the affairs of the Qinglang Society. Said the old man Qianqin. Hearing the words of the old man Qianqin, Bei Zuanming frowned. Then how do you deal with their ideas about the black market? The black market is very complicated, not what you think, but I discussed this matter with your uncle. Now that the great Zhao Jianghu has changed, it is an opportunity. If you can become the master of the black market, you can practice your uncle's Ju Shenshan Yundafar. This is also your opportunity, said the old man Qianqin. What, you mean that the old uncle said so? Hearing this, Bei Zuanming's face showed joy. It depends on the changes tonight. If Liu Boyan is not successful, it will be impossible to use them to help you become the master of the black market. Said the old man Qianqin. Let's go. As the old man Qianqin spoke, he stepped out of the pavilion. Bei Zuanming followed behind him. His eyes were a little fiery. At this moment, in a wing room in the backyard of Liu Boyan's courtyard, Liu Boyan was standing in front of Elder Song. Elder Song, Li Zunhuan left the Jinling black market. Now only the 7 Dragons leader Wei Zhuang is in charge of the black market. As long as the other 2 evil sects are taken down, I will go straight to the black market. Qinglang base. First take down their base in the black market, and use this as the entrance, to enter the black market. Liu Boyan said. Don't underestimate the Lord of Yama Palace Wei Dungeon. This person is not simple. And the new owner of the Dead Man's Tomb, she may be someone who came down from the Shanman, so we can't be careless. Elder Song said. I understand. Liu Boyan bowed and said, become the master of the 4 evil sects, and enter the black market. I will help you apply for divine blood again. By then, your strength will definitely be further improved. Elder Song said. Thank you for your cultivation, Elder Song. I swear to be loyal to you, and to the Gileo Hall until death. Liu Boyan said hurriedly. Hearing Liu Boyan's words, Elder Song smiled. Chapter 945. The 4 evil sects gather. The temptation of divine blood. The moon was high in the sky. The moonlight fell on the ground, and the weather became cold. Liu Boyan stood at the door of the hall. At this time, the Lord of Yama Palace and an old man stepped into the courtyard. Liu Boyan immediately stepped forward. Brother Wei, I haven't seen you for many years. I hope you are well. Liu Boyan said. Brother Liu, you have been in seclusion for many years. You just came out of the mountain and made such a big noise. I really envy you. Wei Dongjin and Liu Boyuan entered the hall together. There was a main chair in the hall. There were 4 tables and chairs on both sides of the main chair. Liu Boyuan arranged Wei Dongjin in the first position on the left hand. The old man who came with Liu Boyuan was arranged next to Wei Dongjin. After Wei Dongjin sat down, Liu Boyuan sat on the main chair in the hall. Seeing this, Wei Dongjin's eyes condensed slightly. But he didn't say anything. Not long after, a butler brought Li Han Qiu and Qiao Feng into the hall. Please sit here. The butler took the 2 remaining chairs on the side of Wei Dongjin and said. Li Han Qiu's eyes narrowed, and he looked at Liu Boyuan who was sitting in the hall. Liu Boyuan didn't even greet them when they entered the hall. What does this mean? Li Han Qiu showed an angry look on his face. Just watch the show. Qiao Feng transmitted the message. Li Han Qiu suppressed his anger. He sat down with Qiao Feng. Seeing Li Han Qiu and the others sitting down, Liu Boyuan, who was sitting on the main chair, moved his eyes slightly. He deliberately didn't receive Li Han Qiu. He wanted to see what Li Han Qiu would do. People above Xianmen were a little arrogant, and they might get angry on the spot and reveal some of their true colors. But Li Han Qiu only showed anger on his face and actually suppressed his anger in his heart, which made him slightly puzzled. I didn't expect that the dead man's tomb had a new tomb owner. I wonder where the tomb owner came from. Liu Boyuan said after Li Han Qiu and the others sat down. He wanted to test Li Han Qiu's bottom line. Above Xianmen, the gate of life and death. Li Han Qiu said in a cold voice. The gate of life and death. No wonder it can become the master of the tomb of the dead. Liu Boyuan said after hearing this. His face showed a solemn expression. Tomb of the dead was inherited from the gate of life and death. Now that Li Han Qiu came from the gate of life and death, if he wants to take down tomb of the dead, the other party may not agree. Excuse me. He bowed slightly to Li Han Qiu. It's really lively here tonight. Palace Master Liu, why do you invite me, an old man, to come when you 4 evil sects gather together? At this time, old man Qianqin walked in from outside with Belly Zhu and Ming. I have something to trouble you this time, so I invited you to come. Liu Boyuan stood up and asked the 2 to sit down. Then I won't be polite. Old man Qianqin sat opposite Wei Dongjin. When old man Qianqin sat down, a middle-aged woman in a blue robe and with a beautiful appearance appeared at the door of the lobby. She took a look at the situation in the hall and sat next to Belly Zhu and Ming. Lan Bingyan, the Grand Elder of Xian'an sect. Seeing the middle-aged woman sitting opposite him, Wei Dongjin's heart moved. He didn't expect that the person who came this time would be Lan Bingyan, the Grand Elder of Xian'an sect. Lan Bingyan and Yan Ruiyu, the head of Xian'an sect, had always been at odds. Unexpectedly, Liu Boyuan invited Lan Bingyan. It seems that he wants to support Lan Bingyan to become the head of Xian'an sect. He made a judgment in his heart. Palace Master Liu, this master has other things to do. You invited us here today. If you have anything to say, just tell us directly. Li Han Qiu spoke at this time. There was a trace of anger in her words. Liu Boyuan ignored her before, and her anger in her heart had not disappeared. Master Li is so anxious, so I will tell you directly. This time, I invited the 3 of you to come, mainly because of the changes in the martial arts world. I hope that our 4 evil sects can form an alliance. We can occupy a place in this martial arts world. Liu Boyuan followed Li Han Qiu's words. Alliance, haven't our 4 evil sects always been in a state of mutual assistance? We have already formed an alliance. Do we need to form another alliance? Li Han Qiu said in a cold voice. Hearing Li Han Qiu's words, Liu Boyuan was slightly stunned. This Li Han Qiu was a bit messy. I agree to form an alliance. At this time, Lan Bingyan, the supreme elder of Xian'an sect, spoke. The words were simple and clear. I don't know what you think, Palace Master Wei. Liu Boyuan said. I think our current state is okay. There is no need to deliberately form an alliance. Wei Dongjin said. Palace Master Wei, now, Qinglan Club, Xian'an Pavilion, and other major forces are rising. If our 4 evil sects fight alone, I'm afraid that they will disappear silently like some previous forces. I think Palace Master Wei, you don't want this. Liu Boyan looked at Wei Dongjin and said, we Yanluo Palace have the ability to protect ourselves. Wei Dongjin said, Palace Master Wei, I think it's better for you four evil sects to form an alliance. The world has changed so much. Only after forming an alliance can we become stronger. I think Palace Master Wei, you should agree to Palace Master Liu's proposal. Elder Qianqin said at this time. Elder Qianqin, this is the business of our four evil sects. Please don't interfere. Also, Liu Boyan, I don't know why Elder Qianqin from the black market came here when our four evil sects formed an alliance. Wei Dongjin looked at Liu Boyan and said, Elder Qianqin is the witness I invited to witness our four evil sects forming an alliance. Brother Wei, sometimes people have to realize the environment they are in. Liu Boyan's voice was a little low. Why is Palace Master Liu trying to intimidate us? Your evil god palace has been so arrogant recently. There is news from the capital that you are going to unite with Xian'an Pavilion and the General's Palace to deal with the Qinglang Society. You didn't deal with the Qinglang Society, but you took action against us first. But you underestimated me. Wei Dongjin said coldly. Wei Dongjin, Palace Master Liu is also doing this for our own good. Palace Master Liu has contacted the people of the Betrayal Hall. I also got a drop of divine blood from Palace Master Liu. If Palace Master Wei agrees, I believe Palace Master Liu will also ask for a drop of divine blood for you. Lan Bingyan, the Grand Elder of the Xian'an sect, said. When she talked about the divine blood, Lan Bingyan's eyes flashed with hope. It can be seen that the divine blood has a strong attraction to her. The divine blood of the Betrayal Hall. Wei Dongjin's eyes condensed. The Betrayal Hall is very mysterious, and there has always been a rumor that there is an immortal elixir. At this time, the divine blood appeared, which frightened him. Boom. When Wei Dongjin was speaking, a terrifying cold air burst out from Lan Bingyan, the Grand Elder of the Xian'an sect. Along with the cold air, a fierce aura appeared on Lan Bingyan's body. With the appearance of this fierce aura, the cold air that had previously erupted became even colder. However, this extreme cold disappeared quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was gathered into Lan Bingyan's body. But a red light flashed in the depths of her eyes. Chapter 946. Negotiations breakdown. Action is taken. Fu Hongxue appears. Qiao Feng looked at Li Hanqiu. At this moment, Li Hanqiu looked solemn, with his brows furrowed, as if he was thinking about something, and did not notice Qiao Feng's gaze. Seeing Li Hanqiu thinking, Qiao Feng retracted his gaze. The expression of Wei Dongjin, the master of Yama Palace, was not good at this time. The coldness that Lan Bingyan had just burst out actually made his heart chill. He had some thoughts about the divine blood in his mind. A martial arts master sometimes needs to do everything possible to improve his martial arts skills. Seeing the change in the expression of the master of Yama Palace, a smile appeared in the depths of Liu Boyan's eyes, and he said, just now, Elder Lan said that, if Brother Wei agrees, I will help Brother Wei get a drop of divine blood. Brother Liu, it's just an alliance, there is no need to spend so much. Does Brother Liu want to become the master of the four evil sects? Wei Dongjin looked at Liu Boyan and said, although he wanted the divine blood, he also wanted to confirm the other party's true intentions, to maximize his own interests. Yes, with my strength, I can indeed serve as the leader of the four evil sects. Liu Boyan said bluntly, I didn't expect that you have such great confidence, Palace Master Liu. I really want to give it a try. Wei Dongjin said. He wanted to see Liu Boyan's strength. Liu Boyan must have taken the power of the divine blood. He just wanted to see to what extent the divine blood helped Liu Boyan. There is no rush for this. Let's ask Master Li first. See what she thinks. At this time, Liu Boyan looked at Li Hanqiu. Master Li, there is no problem with Palace Master Wei, so there should be no problem with you. We Dead Man's Tomb will not participate in this alliance. As for your alliance, that is your business. If we are just talking about this matter, my attitude has been made clear. So we will leave now. Li Hanqiu stood up and said. When he stood up, he sent a voice message to Qiao Feng. They said divine blood, not divine blood, but the blood of powerful beasts on Qianmen. Blood of beasts. Qiao Feng's heart moved slightly. Li Chenhao had sent such a message before. The person behind Liu Boyuan of the evil god palace was the Bilao Tang, which means that one of the supporting forces behind General Wang Dugu Weiwei last time was the Bilao Tang. Then the people who attacked King Langhu were from the Bilao Tang. Blood of fierce beasts, I remember you told me about the situation above Shandan before, and talked about wild beasts, but there were no so-called fierce beasts. Qiao Feng said in a voice transmission. Let's talk about this when we get back. They absorb the blood of fierce beasts, and their bodies and fierceness are extremely strong. This matter also involves the Bilao Tang. It will be dangerous for us to stay here, Li Han Qiu said in a voice transmission. Although Qiao Feng's strength has increased, she is afraid that Qiao Feng will get into trouble when it comes to fierce beasts. So she prepared to leave. Master Li, the matter is not yet completed. How can you leave? Today, my Liu's house is not a place where you can leave just because you come. Seeing Li Han Qiu stand up, Liu Boyuan's face became gloomy. Today we will form an alliance and declare your loyalty to me. You can leave safely. If not, then you too will leave your bodies here. The voice was a little cold and carried a murderous intent. Previously, he was afraid of Li Han Qiu's identity and was afraid that the other party would have the means to loyalty to you. Liu Boyuan, do you have that ability? Liu Boyuan's threat also made Li Han Qiu's face become cold. A sharp aura appeared on his body, and this aura was directed at Liu Boyuan. Liu Boyuan's expression was calm. He looked at the old man Qianqin. Old man Qianqin, please help me take down Li Han Qiu. As long as you take down Li Han Qiu, I will definitely offer you what I promised you before. Liu Boyuan said. He asked the old man Qianqin to come, mainly to drag the old man Qianqin into the water. Now that the people from the Qinglang Society did not show up, let the old man Qianqin take down Li Han Qiu. Hearing Liu Boyuan's words, the old man Qianqin narrowed his eyes slightly, but then his eyes turned cold and looked at Li Han Qiu. Master Li is in this situation now, why bother struggling? Being loyal to Palace Master Liu is the right choice. You won't really let me do it yourself, will you? Your aura is unstable. You must have been seriously injured before coming here. It seems that you didn't come here by the right way. Old man Qianqin looked at Li Han Qiu and said. He said Li Han Qiu's current situation in one sentence. Hearing what old man Qianqin said, Li Han Qiu's eyes condensed. She didn't expect that this old man Qianqin could actually see the condition of her body. This old man Qianqin is not simple. If our master wants to leave, he can leave at any time. Old man Qianqin, this is the business of the four evil sects. If you want to take action, then I will send you off. At this time, Qiao Feng, who was beside Li Han Qiu, said coldly. His tone was domineering. He didn't care about old man Qianqin at all. As soon as Qiao Feng's words came out, the hall became silent. Who are you? Liu Boyuan didn't pay attention to Qiao Feng, but just thought he was Li Han Qiu's follower. But now he is so arrogant. I'm the first deputy master of the Tomb of the Dead, the leader of the beggars sect, Qiao Feng. Qiao Feng said. He added his name in the Tomb of the Dead. You are Qiao Feng, the newly rising leader of the beggars sect in Jiangnan. I didn't expect you to be the first deputy master of the Tomb of the Dead. It seems that you are attracted by Li Han Qiu's background in the Qiushan sect, but sometimes vision is very important. Liu Boyuan heard this and said coldly. Qiao Feng, young man, you are so arrogant. Today I will leave you here. The old man Qianqin looked at Qiao Feng with cold eyes. When he spoke, a terrifying aura appeared around him and pressed towards Qiao Feng. Humph. When his aura pressed towards Qiao Feng, the true energy in Qiao Feng's body rolled, and the dragon shadow appeared around him, roaring and roaring, directly shattering the pressure. He looked at the old man Qianqin with cold eyes. You will not live if you commit evil. You will die today. Qiao Feng's tone was cold, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Brother Fu, you have been watching the show for quite some time. You should show up now. Qiao Feng said to the outside of the hall. Brother Qiao, we didn't have a good drink last time we parted. After this time, we should have a good drink. A bright voice came from outside. Then a figure walked out of the darkness. The man was wearing a black windbreaker and holding a dark long sword in his hand. It was Fu Hongxue. The Azure Dragon Society, the fourth dragon leader Fu Hongxue. Seeing Fu Hongxue, Liu Boyan stood up, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. I didn't expect that you, the Azure Dragon Society, really dared to come, but Fu Hongxue, with your strength alone, I'm afraid you can't leave my Liu residence. Liu Boyan moved and appeared in the courtyard. His consciousness went around, wanting to see who else from the Azure Dragon Society was coming. Although Li Zunhuan of the Qinglang Society had left, the Qinglang Society was well known, so he still had to be cautious. I can kill you alone, Fu Hongxue said coldly. He said so because he had been cultivating the blood knife after he got it. A few days ago, the blood knife in his hand had transformed to the spiritual level. Hearing this, Liu Boyan's eyes condensed. He didn't know where Fu Hongxue got the confidence to kill him. Chapter 947, The Fierce Nature of Divine Blood, a Heavy Blow. Then I'd like to see how you kill me, Liu Boyan said coldly, while looking at Fu Hongxue. Although the aura of Fu Hongxue was dark, it did not give him a sense of danger. At this time, everyone rushed out of the hall and landed in the courtyard. Qiao Feng and Li Hanqiu stood not far from Fu Hongxue. Is he the reason for your arrogance? Liu Boyan looked at Qiao Feng, who had just come out. Although Qiao Feng had an extraordinary record, he did not kill any top martial arts masters. So he thought that Qiao Feng's previous arrogance was because he relied on Fu Hongxue of the Qinglang Society. Brother Qiao, you are underestimated. Fu Hongxue looked at Qiao Feng and said. Fu Hongxue and Qiao Feng are two different types of people. Qiao Feng is a knight who is willing to die for his country and his people. Fu Hongxue is a lonely swordsman who interprets the tenacity in his life with an unyielding will, so he is called the undefeated sword god. He also has another name, called the Xian'ai swordsman. Xian'ai represents distance and inner loneliness. Although he had not had much contact with Qiao Feng, he sensed the boldness in Qiao Feng, a boldness he had never experienced before. So he felt that they had met very late. Then let me first experience the strength of the master of the evil god palace. Qiao Feng stepped forward and said, Old Qianqin, I will take down Qiao Feng as I promised you before. Liu Boyan did not intend to make a move, but looked at Old Qianqin. Old Qianqin heard the words, but did not make a move immediately. If the people from the Blue Dragon Society had not appeared, he would not hesitate to make a move against Qiao Feng. But now that the Blue Dragon Society has appeared, the fourth dragon leader Fu Hongxue is still very familiar with Qiao Feng. Today's events are a little unusual, so he did not make a move immediately. Let me kill him. Seeing Old Qianqin hesitate, Xian'ai Sect's Grand Elder Lan Bingyan said coldly. While speaking, the energy on his body burst out, and the surging cold air swept out. With a move, he instantly appeared in front of Qiao Feng. He slapped out with a palm, without any fancy moves. There was only a terrifying cold air condensed on his palm. Qiao Feng did not hesitate to face such an attack. He punched out with a direct punch. There was no energy fluctuation. All you could see was the fist. Bang! The fist collided with the palm. A muffled groan was heard. Lang Bingyan's eyes condensed. The cold air in her hand kept pouring out, wrapping around Qiao Feng's arm. In a blink of an eye, the arm that Qiao Feng attacked was covered with cold air, and a layer of frost appeared. Seeing this, Lan Bingyan's face showed a ferocious look, and she shouted in a low voice, "Break it for me." Her palm turned into a claw, grabbing Qiao Feng's fist, trying to break Qiao Feng's arm. But at the moment, when she grasped Qiao Feng's fist, a terrifying force erupted from Qiao Feng's fist. Bang! The ice on the arm was shattered. Lang Bingyan's body trembled violently, and she was almost instantly blown away, with some blood on the corner of her mouth. You are too weak. After sending Lan Bingyan flying with a punch, Qiao Feng looked at her and said coldly. Hearing what Qiao Feng said, Lan Bingyan, who had just stabilized her body, changed her expression, and did not wipe the blood from her mouth. Boom. She stepped on the ground and shot towards Qiao Feng. As she shot, the cold air in her palm condensed into a sword. The long sword slashed towards Qiao Feng. This little bit of power is useless to me. Qiao Feng snorted coldly. His palm turned into a claw and stretched out his palm. The terrifying true energy formed a dragon claw and grabbed the opponent's longsword. Crack. The longsword formed by ice was caught by the dragon claw. Then, crack, the ice sword was broken. Divine power, extreme cold ice. Lang Bingan shouted, and all the ice true energy in her body burst out. A vortex of cold air appeared behind her, and the vortex was white, giving everyone a deep sense of cold. The surrounding temperature dropped rapidly, and a layer of frost appeared. Ice Soul Divine Palm. Boom. The palm was raised. The terrifying cold air burst out from her palm, turning into a huge ice palm, and went towards Kao Feng. Seeing the palm coming, Kao Feng's eyes turned cold. A terrifying true energy wave burst out from his body, like a tornado, shattering the cold air that enveloped him. Then he quickly stretched out his palm and slapped it. The true energy in his palm turned into a dragon shape and collided with the icy palm. The icy palm was shattered. At this moment, Lang Bingan appeared in front of Kao Feng in a flash. Die. Lang Bingan shouted in a low voice, and her palm brought a terrifying cold air, like a comet, bombarding Kao Feng's head. She wanted to smash Kao Feng's head with one palm. However, when her palm fell, Kao Feng moved his feet and dodged the opponent's palm. The opponent's palm power fell on the ground, and with a loud bang, the ground exploded, and a layer of terrifying ice appeared. Lang Bingan quickly retreated after missing the attack. Keep a distance from Kao Feng. You are too weak. I won't waste time on you. Boom. Along with Kao Feng's voice, a terrifying energy burst out from Kao Feng's body. Boom. 18 dragon shadows emerged. As soon as they appeared, the whole space could hear the boundless dragon roar. Along with the dragon roar, a terrifying pressure enveloped Lang Bingan. Lang Bingan immediately felt a terrifying pressure sweeping over her. Her mind was also shaken by the roar. During this vibration, a drop of black blood in her body emitted a black light, and it was quickly diluted and merged into the blood in her body. As the black blood merged, a terrifying and fierce power appeared on Lang Bingan's body. This fierce power also carried a gloomy chill. At this moment, her eyes became ferocious. Roar. At this time, Lang Bingan let out a low roar. The cold and fierce aura burst out, shattering the pressure that enveloped Kao Feng on her. Thank you for your pressure, which allows the divine blood to completely merge with me. Lang Bingan looked at Kao Feng, and a violent killing intent appeared in her eyes. What a strong desire to kill. Wei Dongjin, the master of Yama Palace, looked at Lang Bingan's changes and his eyes condensed. The murderous intent that emerged from the other party was too violent. The look he gave Lang Bingan. His eyes had turned red. The terrifying evil spirit on his body, as well as the cold air that emanated from his body, mixed together to form a terrifying wave. Is this the blood of God? Full of killing. Kao Feng snorted coldly, moved his footsteps, and shot out. Boom. He slapped out with one palm. The true energy in his body gathered in his palm like a tide, turning into a golden dragon, and heading towards Lang Bingan. Roar. Lang Bingan roared. Behind her, a terrifying beast's shadow appeared. Its appearance could not be seen clearly, but there was a pair of red eyes on the shadow. Boom. Her body also shot out, and she slapped out with one palm. Bang. The two forces collided. A terrifying airwave swept over. Xiangsun, Shenpo, Hanbing. Lang Bingan shouted, and 3 different powers appeared on her body and surged into her palm. Dragon subduing palm. Kao Feng shouted, and several dragon shadows appeared in his body, pouring into his palm, dispersing the opponent's ki, and pouring into the opponent's body. Bang! Lang Bingan's body was blown away again, and hit the ground. Puff! Blood spurted out. The meridians in her body were shattered by the powerful force, and her whole body was covered with blood, which was horrible to look at. If I didn't want to see what the divine blood in your body was, this gang leader could kill you with one palm. Kao Feng punched Lang Bingan severely and said in a cold voice. Chapter 948. No need to stick half an incense stick. Take off your head. Kao Feng could have killed the opponent with one strike. However, considering that the divine blood in the opponent's body was valuable for research, he did not kill the opponent immediately. Otherwise, the true energy in his body just now burst out with all his strength and poured into Lang Bingan's body. Lang Bingan's body would have been blown up by his punch. Waste. Liu Boyuan looked at Lan Bingyan, who was lying on the ground covered in blood, and cursed in his heart, and then looked at Cao Feng with a serious look. He knew that he had underestimated Cao Feng. Lan Bingyan was beaten like this by the opponent with a punch, even though she had activated her divine blood, which showed how terrifying Cao Feng's power was. Cao Feng, I underestimated you a little bit. Liu Boyuan said. Let old man Chen take action and add chips. At this time, Liu Boyuan heard a voice appear in his mind. The expression in the depths of his eyes moved slightly. Old man Chen, add another drop of divine blood. I hope you can get rid of this Cao Feng. This is a rare opportunity. Liu Boyuan turned and looked at old man Chen. Old man Chen heard what Liu Boyuan said. His eyes moved. In the previous battle, he already had some understanding of Cao Feng's strength. If he burst out with all his strength, he should be able to defeat Cao Feng. I want 3 drops of divine blood. Old man Chen looked at Liu Boyuan and said. He added a drop of divine blood. Hearing what old man Chen said, Liu Boyuan's mouth twitched a little. He didn't expect that old man Chen was so bold that he actually wanted 3 drops of divine blood. Promise him. At this time, the voice of Elder Song came to his mind again. Okay. Old man Chen, I promise you. Liu Boyuan said. Hearing what Liu Boyuan said, old man Chen showed joy on his face. Just now, adding a drop of divine blood was not only to raise his own needs, but also to test whether there were people from the Gileo Hall around. Liu Boyuan didn't have the right to add divine blood to himself. But now he agreed, which means that the people from the Gileo Hall are here, so he doesn't have to worry too much, not to mention that he killed Cao Feng, and it has nothing to do with the Qinglang Society. Cao Feng, you are very arrogant. Today I will send you on your way. Boom. The momentum of old man Chen burst out. Waves of terrifying ki poured out like a rainstorm. When the ki burst out, a black jade plate appeared in his palm. Ki flowed through it. Then the black jade plate was thrown out, and a layer of terrifying fog suddenly appeared above their heads. This jade plate can help cover the heavenly gate. Half an incense stick of time. In this half an incense stick, I will take off your head. The old man Chen looked at Cao Feng coldly. The aura on his body burst out. It directly broke through the sea of concentration, and reached the level of shattering. Boom. He fully exerted his own power. Boom. The true key changed, and a huge black eagle phantom appeared behind him. The black eagle phantom appeared, and a fierce flame burst out, sweeping across the sky. Facing the aura burst out by the old man Chen, Cao Feng's expression remained unchanged. He sneered and said at the same time, Old man Chen, I wanted to kill you just now. Now that you jump out again, I will send you on your way. Also, it should take me less than half an incense stick to take off your head. The voice was cold and fierce, with boundless domineering. Boom. At this moment, Cao Feng's aura began to change. The divine power burst out directly. The terrifying 18 dragon shadows emerged, howling to the sky, and the momentum shook the world. At this moment, his aura was much stronger than when he just killed Lan Bingyan. For Lan Bingyan, Cao Feng did not use too much strength, but just combined his own physical strength and the Xianlang True Key to severely injure her. This situation made the old man Chen think that he had the ability to kill him. Seeing the divine power displayed by Cao Feng and the changes in his strength, the old man Chen's face changed. Kill. The Sky Eagle subdues the demon. The old man Chen shouted in a low voice, raised his palm, and a terrifying true energy burst out. A huge black eagle appeared and cooperated with the divine power behind him, whistling towards Cao Feng. Looking at the huge black eagle coming towards him, Cao Feng's eyes turned cold. He raised his palm suddenly. A palm slapped out. Boom. 18 true energy turned into golden dragons and flew out from his palm, cooperating with the 18 dragon shadows behind him. Suddenly, the world was in turmoil. The 18 dragons carried terrifying power and attacked the flying black eagle. This palm, the dragon shadow soared, and the sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. The momentum on his body swallowed the mountains and rivers in all directions, suppressing the energy of heaven and earth. Bang! The black eagle collided with the golden dragon. There was a shocking sound. With the sound, the body of the Black Eagle was shattered by the 18 golden dragons. Seeing this, the old man Chen who took action changed his expression, revealing extreme shock and surprise. The opponent slapped his palm, and 18 golden dragons flew out, shattering his palm power. Heavenly bad giant god fist. He shouted in a low voice. The shattered true energy poured into his body like a tide. His body emitted a black light at this moment. Then he punched again and again. The terrifying fist force was like a black diamond giant god, attacking the palm power falling on Cao Feng. Boom. The standing body kept bombarding. The ground under his feet cracked and formed a deep pit. Just when he was resisting this force, Cao Feng's figure turned into a residual image, and in the blink of an eye he appeared in front of the old man Chen. He made a fist with his palm and punched out. Because the distance was too close, the old man Chen had just used all his strength to resist the falling palm power. He couldn't dodge at all. No. The old man Chen's face changed drastically. He didn't expect Cao Feng's attack speed to be so fast. Of course. The reason why he wanted the divine blood was because he felt that the divine blood could help him increase his ferocity. His divine power is that of a heavenly bird, but there is a difference between humans and birds. It lacks a kind of ferocity. The blood on Lan Bingyan's body just now has a kind of ferocity. If he can take it, he will integrate it into his divine power, and then his strength will be even stronger. Dark golden body. At this time, the old man Chen shouted. A dark golden light appeared around him, and the light enveloped his body. Then he punched out. His fist collided with Cao Feng's fist, and terrifying power burst out from their fists. After one punch, Cao Feng opened his fist, and turned it into a palm. True dragon hand. He slapped his palm. A dragon shadow burst out, emitting a mighty breath. The old man Chen returned his hand and punched out. The fist force turned into a black eagle, which roared and roared, emitting a violent breath, and opened its claws to go towards the dragon shadow. Boom. Two forces burst out. At this time, the old man Chen suddenly shot out, and went towards Cao Feng. The palm of his hand turned into a claw, like a sharp blade, and went towards Cao Feng's heart. The speed was so fast. But Cao Feng's figure flashed. The palm that fell attacked the after image. The attack missed. The old man Chen's expression changed. 18. Capture the cage. Just at this time, a low voice sounded in his ears. The old man Chen's expression changed and turned around. At this time, Cao Feng stretched out his palm. 18 dragon shadows appeared in his palm, whistling out, and instantly enveloped his figure. Explode. At the moment of enveloping, Cao Feng shouted. Bang. The 18 dragon shadows exploded. The terrifying power swept around, and the surrounding courtyards and houses were all turned into ruins in an instant. After the explosion, the old man Chen was covered in blood, and his two arms disappeared. Blood was rolling. Whoosh. At this time, Cao Feng's figure flashed, and his palm turned into a claw. One claw grabbed the old man Chen's head. Swish. He took off his head. Chapter 949. Bloody appearance. Fu Hongxu's bloody knife. Blood splattered, and the body fell to the ground. Master. Seeing this, Bei Zuanming, who came with him, changed his face and roared. But he controlled his body, and did not move. Cao Feng's strength made it easy to kill him. The scene then became silent. Liu Boyuan's face was gloomy. The old man Chen said that it would take half an incense stick of time to take down Cao Feng. But he was beheaded instead. He stared at Cao Feng with a sinister look. Cao Feng's strength was completely beyond his expectations. It's amazing that your strength has reached this level. When Liu Boyuan spoke, he raised his hand, grabbed with his palm, and a suction force appeared, grabbing the jade card that the old man Chen had played earlier in his hand. Crack. The jade card was crushed by him, and the mist that had appeared earlier disappeared. He looked at Cao Feng, whose breath was weakened. You are strong, but in this world, it is not easy to use such power. Sometimes people still have to know the situation. I will give you a chance to join us. You have just seen the power of the divine blood. It is extremely powerful. As long as you join us, we can give you the divine blood promised to the old man Chen. If you want to step into the heavenly gate, we can also send you to the powerful forces above the heavenly gate. Liu Boyan said. However, when he talked about the powerful forces above the heavenly gate, he did not mention their names. You also have power above Shanman. Qiao Feng's eyes condensed when he heard this, and he transmitted a message to Li Hanqiu. What is the name of the power of the Buleo Tang above Shanman? I know about the Cheng Shenghu. There is the Cheng Shenghu above Shanman, but I have never heard of which power the Buleo Tang belongs to. However, some of the divine blood of the Buleo Tang may have something to do with the beast god cult above Shanman. The beast god cult has been studying how to integrate the blood of wild beasts, fierce beasts, and demons into the human body to enhance human strength. This beast god cult is very powerful, but they often use the human race for experiments, which is very cruel, and they also cooperate with demons and wild beasts, but they have been hunted down by forces from all over the world. Li Hanqiu said. Hearing Li Hanqiu's words, Qiao Feng's heart moved slightly. This force can be hunted down by human forces and still exist, which shows how powerful this force is. What do you think? Qiao Feng, this is a rare opportunity, and it will be gone if you miss it. Liu Boyan looked at Qiao Feng and said, HMPH, I'm the first deputy leader of the Dead Man's Tomb. Of course, I will enter the Life and Death Gate when I go to Shanman. Will I go to other forces? Qiao Feng said coldly. Although your strength is good, if you enter the Life and Death Gate, there are so many geniuses. Do you think you will be taken seriously? What a wishful thinking. If you enter the Life and Death Gate, you can only become the lowest level, cannon fodder. Liu Boyan said coldly. This is why he joined the Immortal Hall, because of the divine blood. The 4 major evil sects have corresponding forces above Shanman. His evil god palace, the force above Shanman, is called the evil god palace, and its power is extremely powerful. But he knows that, if he enters the evil god palace, he will be at the lowest level, and may become cannon fodder sometimes. Then you join the Immortal Hall for the so-called divine blood, and your so-called divine blood contains a cruel and violent desire for killing, which can affect people's minds, and it is not the real divine blood at all. Qiao Feng said coldly. But he did not say Li Hanqiu's guess, because Li Hanqiu just said that this divine blood corresponds to the force. If he said it at this time, he would probably be surrounded and killed. You dare to insult the blood of the gods, that's because they are fusing the blood of the gods for the first time, and cannot suppress the power of the blood of the gods. Hearing Qiao Feng say this, the face of the master of the evil god palace showed anger. The aura on his body began to change. A wave of terrifying power emerged from his body. This terrifying power is a kind of physical power, not a change in realm. Qiao Feng's eyes condensed. He is now absorbing the blood of the wild dragon, and his body is also changing rapidly. If he had not used the broken power just now, he could still fight with the old Manchurian with a body tempered by the blood of the wild dragon. Of course, although getting the blood of the wild dragon from the master is overbearing, it has no side effects, which is completely different from the violent negative effects on the other party. Liu Boyan, you said that you would attack my Qinglang society. Your life belongs to me, Fu Hongxue. Today, at this time, Fu Hongxue opened his mouth. While speaking, Fu Hongxue stepped. When he stepped, a terrifying sword intent appeared on his body, and the sword intent condensed and gathered on the long sword in his hand. Buleo Tang, divine blood. It seems that you are the ones who attacked me, Qinglang society, in Tingshao area. I don't know where you got the courage to target me, Qinglang society. Fu Hongxue stepped forward, and with each step, the sword intent on his body condensed a little, and quickly merged into the long sword in his hand. Swish. The long sword was unsheathed. The long sword was filled with blood. For a moment, the moonlight that originally covered the sky suddenly became dim, and a bloody trace appeared. Fu Hongxue held the long sword in his hand, and the black cloak on his body fluttered, emitting a terrifying aura. Take my sword. Fu Hongxue looked at Liu Boyan with cold eyes. Judging from what happened just now, this Liu Boyan should be just a person who was pushed up. There should be people from Buleo Tang here. Kill Liu Boyan. I believe that the people from Buleo Tang behind Liu Boyan should show up. He held the long sword with both hands. Blood was filled with blood, and the divine power appeared behind Fu Hongxue, and the shadow of the long sword covered the void. there is a sense of loneliness and blood. Of course, Liu Boylan, who was locked by the long sword, had a drastic change of expression. Because he sensed a trace of fear from Fu Hongxu's long sword. This is a kind of spiritual fear. He looked at Fu Hongxu. Fu Hongxu's eyes were cold at this moment, and his own spirit seemed to be instantly integrated into the long sword in his hand. The terrifying murderous intent emanated from the long sword, making the blood in his body begin to become uncontrollable. Boom. The terrifying consciousness permeated in the blood. Roar. He let out a low roar from the corner of his mouth. A vague shadow appeared behind him. Although it was just a shadow, the breath it exuded was extremely terrifying. As this shadow appeared, the eyes of Liu Boylan, the master of the evil god palace, also turned red. At this moment, the blood of the beast was violent, which overshadowed his mind. Boom. He raised his palm and punched out. The blood and true energy in his body all surged out under this punch. A hot and violent fist force blasted out from his fist. The opponent made the first move. Fu Hongxu's eyes emitted a chilling light, and he raised the long sword in his hand. Boom. The sword fell. Suddenly, a blood moon-like sword light appeared in an instant, slashing down like an aurora. At this moment, only this blood-colored light was seen between heaven and earth. No one could describe this sword. When the sword came out, the people watching the battle felt cold all over, as if they were facing this sword themselves. Their hearts trembled, their faces were panicked, and their eyes were terrified. This sword was beyond any sword they had seen before. Swish. The bloodlight tore through Liu Boylan's fist and slashed towards Liu Boylan's body. How dare you? At this moment, a deep voice appeared. Then a figure flew out like a cannonball. A figure appeared in front of Liu Boylan, with a violent and wild aura around him. His skin was dark gold, and his palms were covered with a layer of dark gold boxing gloves. Boom. A punch was thrown out. The terrifying dark gold light tore through the air, rolled up a strong wind, and collided with Fu Hongxu's long sword with the force of thunder and lightning. Clang. The dark gold and blood red light collided. There was a clanging sound, and after the clanging sound, a wave of air swept through, shaking everyone's mind. When their minds recovered, everyone looked towards the place where the fight took place. The man who appeared in front of Liu Boylan looked at Fu Hongxu with a serious look. Your knife. At this time, people were looking at the gloves in his hands, and a crack appeared on the dark gold gloves. Chapter 950. Kill the thunder, kill the opponent. Gain E. Wei Zhuang appears. A trace of blood flowed out from the crack. However, the blood quickly dried up and condensed, and the injury could not be seen. At this moment, Liu Boylan, who was behind the burly man, had just been shrouded in the terrifying sword intent of Fu Hongxu, and the killing intent in his body was suppressed. His eyes regained a little clarity, and he tried to suppress the killing intention in his heart. As he suppressed it, the killing intent in his body gradually faded. However, the violent aura on his body still emerged. The blood knife in his hand should have reached the spiritual level. You are not his opponent. Step aside first. The man looked at Liu Boylan and said. The boxing gloves in his own hands were top-level weapons. They collided with the opponent's long sword and were shattered by a blow. The long sword in the opponent's hand must have reached the spiritual level. Hearing this, Liu Boylan's mind moved, and his body stepped back. Spirit-level weapons. His body could not resist. Just now, the opponent's sword light passed by, and he was afraid that his body would be separated from his head. On the other side, the Yama Palace Master Wei Dongjin looked at the situation in front of him. His eyes condensed. The divine blood has such a big side effect. If this is the case, once I absorb the divine blood, I'm afraid that I will be controlled by the people of the Bilao Hall. Wei Dongjin thought to himself. He looked at the person next to him and said in a voice transmission, things have become unusual. Let's find an opportunity and leave. Judging from the current situation, it is a contest between the Qinglang Society and the Bilao Hall. If he participates, his body will probably be left here tonight. He looked at Cao Feng. Seeing that Cao Feng looked calm, he sent a voice transmission to Li Han Qiu, who was next to Cao Feng. Master Li, our departure is an opportunity. Otherwise, I'm afraid that we will not be able to leave at that time. Hearing Wei Dongjin's conversation, Li Hanqiu sent a voice transmission. Master Wei, you can leave. We will be with the Qinglang Society. Cao Feng is related to Fu Hongxue. She is based on Cao Feng, and Cao Feng can't leave in this situation, so she won't leave either. Hearing Li Hanqiu's words, Wei Dongjin's eyes condensed. He originally wanted to leave with Li Hanqiu and the others, so that he would have a helper if something happened. But he didn't expect Li Hanqiu to not leave, and it seemed that he wanted to participate in the next battle. His brows were furrowed. Now, it was time for him to make a choice. Should he leave, or stand on the side of the Qinglang Society? He couldn't stand on the side of the Gileotang, but the Qinglang Society might not accept him. He was in a dilemma for a while. He could only stand still. The current state of your boxing gloves can't withstand another blow from me. Fu Hongxue looked at the burly figure and said, "That's not necessarily true." The burly man snorted coldly. While he was speaking, his aura surged, and his true energy surged out. There was a strong wind flying around him for a while, and the blood in his body began to boil. As the blood boiled, a layer of scales appeared on his arm. The boxing gloves that were previously cracked by Fu Hongxue were also covered with a layer of scales. The scales gave off a cold metallic light. My boxing gloves can't block your blood knife, but your blood knife should have just broken through to the spiritual level. I'm wearing a layer of scales, and with my boxing gloves, I can completely block the blood knife in your hand. Now let me see the strength of the 4 dragon heads of the Qinglang Society. My name is Zhang Zuan. The burly man gave his name. Boom, an invisible pressure burst out from his body, covering Fu Hongxue. He kicked the ground with his feet and bent his knees violently. The ground shook violently. Zhang Zuan's burly body rushed out like a tiger leaping over a stream, his thick arms covered with scales, and punched out. A black violent light burst out from his fist, covering Fu Hongxue. A gleam of light flashed in Fu Hongxue's eyes. The long sword in his palm slashed out. A huge blood-colored sword light shot out instantly. The blood-colored sword light also carried an indestructible sword intent. The lethality of this sword is amazing. Boom. The long sword collided with the fist, making a ringing sound. Both of them landed at the same time. At the moment of landing, Zhang Zuan showed a smile, as if he had known it for a long time, and stepped on the ground. Bang! The blue bricks on the ground shattered, and turned into powder. Boom. 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 The footsteps changed. The blood and energy in his body accumulated to a certain level between the steps. He moved instantly, and appeared in front of Fu Hongxue. Suddenly, he punched down, but the fist was like a black stream of light, forming a piece of aura, and went towards Fu Hongxue. Fu Hongxue's face did not change. He clenched the blood knife in his hand, and slashed it out instantly. The speed of the knife was extremely fast, and the blood light burst out, turning into a rainstorm to cover the opponent. Boom. 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 The two people's swords collided, and the sword energy and fists were rampant. For a moment, people were shocked. Their eyes were extremely horrified. The strength of this person who appeared is actually comparable to Fu Hongxue. If Fu Hongxue only relies on the power of the blood knife, I'm afraid he can't defeat the opponent. Li Hanqiu said beside Cao Feng. Boom. The two of them retreated at the same time. Your blood knife can't do anything to me. When I exhaust all the power in your body, it's time for me to twist off your head. Zhang Zuan looked at Fu Hongxue with cold eyes. Boom. Just when he finished speaking, the aura on Fu Hongxue changed. Since you want to die, I'll send you on your way. An extremely strong murderous aura permeated Fu Hongxue. This murderous intent was so cold that it made people feel as if their blood was frozen. I have a knife. I don't know if you can take it. Fu Hongxue's voice was calm, but there was an endless danger in the calmness. Sensing the change in Fu Hongxue's aura, Zhang Zuan's eyes condensed, and his eyes burst into a strong blood red light. Huge veins also appeared on his forehead. The aura on his body began to surge wildly. A gravity emerged in his body. Boom. At this moment, the gate of heaven appeared. Fu Hongxue's aura began to surpass the concentration in the sea, so the gate of heaven appeared. Thunder flashed above the gate of heaven, accumulating quickly. Boom. The moment Fu Hongxue raised his knife, the lightning fell instantly. When it fell instantly, Fu Hongxu's eyes emitted a horrified light, and the long knife in his hand slashed out. This knife came out, forming a terrifying blood-colored blade light. The blood-colored blade light directly cut the thunder above the shaman. In the moment of unfolding, there was no change, but it became more terrifying, covering the entire world. For a moment, the sky turned blood-colored, and the blood-colored light enveloped the earth. Zhang Zuan's expression changed drastically when he saw this scene, because he saw a blood-colored long knife in his eyes. The blood-colored blade light was sweeping over. He was locked by the blood-colored blade light. In this situation, Zhang Zuan roared, and the roar sounded like a terrifying beast. A layer of terrifying black blood energy on his body. The blood energy formed scales, covering his whole body. Boom. He kicked the ground with his footsteps, and his body rushed violently. The energy and blood energy in his body instantly poured into his fist. A punch was thrown. If you can't resist this knife, you can only die. So at this moment, he also tried his best, blocking this knife. Even if Fu Hongxu could not be killed, Fu Hongxu could only step into the heaven gate and leave. Because he shattered the thunder, not the heaven gate. So if he did not leave, the power that would burst out again would devour him completely. Boom. The fist collided with the blood-colored knife light. Swish. Zhang Zuan's body was penetrated by the blood-colored knife light. Fu Hongxu's body flew into the air after the knife fell, without looking at Zhang Zuan, and stepped into the heaven gate. Thinking about leaving, how can you do it? At this time, a figure appeared, and his palm shot out instantly, and countless green lights suddenly went towards Fu Hongxu. Fu Hongxu did not pay attention to the green light that shot out. His footsteps did not stop. He could have stayed, but his strength has been improved to a stage. He is a warrior who likes to use all his strength. Staying in this world, he can no longer go further. He has obtained the skills of the transformation domain from Chen. He can completely step into the heaven gate. As for the heaven gate, whether it is dangerous or not, warriors are not afraid of danger. Moreover, he is different from others. He is a lonely person, and does not have many friends in this world. Qiao Feng is one of them, but he already likes loneliness. It may be better to enter the heavenly gate. This is why he just exerted all his strength to kill the other party and leave. The green light swept. A figure appeared in front of Fu Hongxu, and the sword in his hand was flowing. All the green lights that shot out were blocked by the sword energy. Thank you. Fu Hongxu, who stepped into the heavenly gate, thanked the person who came. Then the heavenly gate disappeared. The figure fell. He was holding a long sword and dressed in white, but he did not have that kind of coldness, but instead had a sense of transcendence. It was Gainy. The green light was blocked. A figure appeared, also wearing white clothes, but the person who came was pale, and he also looked like a young man. He looked at Gainy in front of him, who was wearing white clothes and holding a long sword and had a somewhat elegant aura. Who are you? It seems that there was no such person as you in the Qinglang society before. The pale young man looked at Gainy and said, I'm one of the 10 great sword masters of the Qinglang society. Gainy. Gainy said. Gainy, Su Chen's definition is one of the 10 great sword masters. 10 great sword masters? Hearing this, the young man's face changed slightly. But your strength is a little worse than Fu Hongxu just now. Are you here to die? The pale-faced young man looked at Gainy and said. Although Gainy just blocked his attack, he could sense the aura on his body. So he looked down on Gainy. If you have the strength of that person just now, I may not be able to kill you. But I have a junior brother. We can join forces and kill you without any problem. Gainy's voice seemed very calm. He knew his own strength. If the other party was the same as the previous one, he really couldn't kill him. Hearing this, the pale young man's face changed. He looked around. At this time, in the moonlight, a shadow appeared, and then Wei Zhuang, dragging the shark-tooth sword, walked out from the dark. I didn't expect that you would ask me for help, senior brother. Wei Zhuang looked at Gainy and said. Wei Zhuang, the 7 dragon leaders of the Qinglang society, has just entered the state of concentration? No, the aura on your body is definitely not that of just entering the state of concentration. The young man had Wei Zhuang's information. The previous introduction mentioned that Wei Zhuang's strength was just that of just entering the state of concentration in the sea, but Wei Zhuang's strength was definitely not that of just entering the state of concentration in the sea. Are you surprised? When did I say that I just entered the state of concentration in the sea? Wei Zhuang looked at the pale young man and said, "The information is wrong. It is wrong. Even if the two of you join forces, you can kill me. You are really wishful thinking. But judging from this situation, your Qinglang society should have no strength in Jiangnan. Zhang Liao, you should also show up. Take them down, and don't give them a chance to resist," the pale young man said to one place. He would not make the same mistake as Zhang Zuan. Everyone also looked at each other. An old man with a dark face appeared. The old man's aura was restrained, and the aura fluctuations on his body could not be felt, but no one dared to underestimate the old man at this time. The old man looked at Wei Zhuang and Gaini. "It's a pity that you two will die here today," the old man said calmly. "You are quite strong. I just want to see your strength." At this time, Qiao Feng suddenly spoke. He stepped forward, and the aura around him burst out, covering the old man. "Qiao Feng, you are going to be an enemy of my Bulao Tang." The elder saw Qiao Feng burst out his aura. His eyes turned cold, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. "Aren't we already enemies? You don't have to use Bulao Tang to threaten this gang leader. This gang leader is not afraid of your threats." Qiao Feng also said in a cold voice. "You are very arrogant. In this case, I will send you off. Liu Boyan, you deal with Li Han Qiu." The elder ordered Liu Boyan. Liu Boyan was already calm at this moment. Hearing the old man's words, he nodded and stepped forward. "Kill." At this time, the pale young man who was confronting Gaini and Wei Zhuang suddenly moved, and the whole body was like a black flying swallow, rushing out in an instant. As he rushed out, countless green lights once again shot towards Gaini and the others like a rain of needles. Gaini used the long sword in his hand, and the sword light surged, forming a terrifying airwave that swept out. Boom. The rain-like green light was pulled by the sword light and instantly attacked like a locust. However, when these green lights attacked, the opponent's figure cleverly passed through these green lights and appeared in front of Gaini. He slapped his palm. But when he slapped, Wei Zhuang, who was beside Gaini, took action. The shark-tooth sword in his hand shot out instantly, and the sword light collided with his palm. Bang! The air force was flying, and Wei Zhuang's figure was slightly shocked and retreated. The pale young man wanted to rush out. But at this time, Gaini's sword also arrived. For a moment, he couldn't move forward. Wei Zhuang, who retreated slightly, moved his feet, shot out, and slashed with the long sword in his hand. With the sound of wind and thunder, he slashed towards the pale young man's head, which was quite cruel. When the two joined forces, their power not only complemented each other, but also doubled. For a moment, the three of them fought fiercely, their ki was raging, and their killing intent was shaking the sky. The elders who saw this situation here had their eyes fixed. They looked at Liu Boyan. At this moment, Liu Boyan stepped on Li Han Qiu with his breath. Li Han Qiu's strength had not recovered, but he had no problem resisting Liu Boyan's breath pressure. "Master Li, we will help you." Wei Dongjin moved and appeared in front of Li Han Qiu. "This is Jinling City, the territory of the Qinglang Society." Fu Hongxue dared to leave, and Gaini and Wei Zhuang also appeared. There must be other masters. He wanted to take a gamble. Others couldn't help, but he could help Li Han Qiu. "Wei Dongjin, I didn't expect you to be ignorant of the current situation." Liu Boyan's eyes were cold and fierce, and a murderous aura appeared on his body. He didn't hold back at all. He wanted to kill the other party. As for whether there were still masters in the Qinglang Society, he didn't care. Because Elder Song of the Bulao Hall hadn't made a move yet. As an elder of the Immortal Hall, he has countless divine bloods, and the strength he has exploded is absolutely powerful. Liu Boyan's aura enveloped Wei Dongjin. Wei Dongjin's face looked extremely solemn, as if he was being stared at by a terrifying beast, and a strong pressure enveloped his heart. Boom. With a move of his footsteps, the aura on his body exploded. Kill. He took the initiative to strike first, raised his palm, and the divine power on his body burst out. The terrifying power burst out, and a yellow river figure appeared behind him. This is his divine power, Hell Huanquin. The divine power burst out, and the aura of the beast burst out of Liu Boy and was instantly shattered. Li Han Qiu, who was beside him, looked at the divine power that burst out of Wei Dongjin, and his eyes condensed. This Wei Dongjin has great ambitions. Huanquin dimming palm. Wei Dongjin slapped out with his palm, and the rolling Huanquin true energy swept towards the opponent like a tide. When Wei Dongjin took action, Li Han Qiu's figure also moved and raised his palm. A deadly aura burst out from her palm, forming a cyclone, and cooperated with Wei Dongjin to attack the opponent. Liu Boyuan's eyes turned cold, his footsteps moved, and his palm was raised, and the murderous blood gathered in his palm. Swish. Suddenly, at this moment, a figure appeared behind him. It was an extremely thin old man, and lightning flashed on his body from time to time. It was Li Wuxi, the head of the 12th Hall of the Qinglang Society, who had used his body to resist the thunder. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.